Hey everyone, I'm Steph,
And I'm Megan.
and welcome to another episode of Late Night Reads.
This week we are diving into the magical world of romantasy and covering The Night Prince by Lauren Palphreyman.
So let's start with why we selected The Night Prince. We had to know what happened after that major game-changing ending at the end of The Wolf King.
Oh my God, yes. Need to know now.
We need to know now.
Give it to me now. Give it to me now.
Give it
I
to me
want
now.
it now.
So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And we need to know, what do you mean? Blake and Aurora are bonded now and their lives are connected. Can she see into his dreams and memories? Can we trust Blake? We had so many questions and we could not wait to find out all the answers in this book. And we said this last time and we will repeat it. Blake is the bad boy we should hate, but we're really drawn to. And that intensifies a lot more in this book. He definitely keeps secrets from everyone, but it's pretty clear he would burn down the world for Aurora. And I don't think he would expect anything in return, except maybe until the end of this book. We'll talk more about that.
Yes.
And then just when you think you know what's going on in the book and who to trust, there's some twists and turns that completely change your perspective. And I would tell you at the end of this, we have a lot of questions on if there is anyone Aurora should trust.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
I got mad. I got
real mad at so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also was like, I might like you again to someone else.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus the ending of this book made me immediately want the third book, which hasn't even been released yet. So we're dying to know how this story ends. Give it to us.
Give it to me now. Give it to me now. I want it. But before that, here are a few things that you should know about the author Lauren Palphreyman. So she's an Amazon best-selling romantasy author who likes to write strong and complicated men who respect women. I mean, yes, please, can we get more of that in real life? Thank you so much. And these women are strong and fierce, and she loves to give us romantasy tropes with a twist. And oh boy, gee howdy, does she literally deliver on this one. So she got started writing serial fiction online and had one of the top stories on Wattpad with over 70 million reads.
That's insane.
You go,
I know,
girl.
right?
It's goals. And she previously worked in publishing and now spends her time writing about werewolves. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate that so much.
Same. So before we jump into discussing this book, a couple of key reminders. As always, this episode will contain spoilers. We assume if you're listening, you have read The Wolf King and The Night Prince. You have been warned. Also, this book contains a lot of topics that may be sensitive for some readers, and we are going to talk about them. Animal abuse or death of werewolves. Anxiety, assault, blood, bullying, death, emotional abuse, kidnapping, medical trauma, murder, PTSD, sexism, sexual harassment, torture, violence, war.
I think that about sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and did we mention emotional heartbreak and being distraught as a reader? Yeah, okay, that one's there too. Great.
I may or may not have cried.
Yeah, I didn't cry. I am a robot. I do not cry. Or maybe it's Botox. But now let's talk tropes. So first we have forbidden love. Aurora may be living with the wolves, but her relationship with Callum is still forbidden because she is the princess of the Southlands, and her father would never accept Aurora being with a wolf, which kind of makes you want to do it more, honestly.
Right?
And there are numerous wolves who don't want Aurora around either, even if she is a half wolf. So it's this is dicey. Next, we have fated mates. The life force bond that Blake allegedly creates between him and Aurora turns out to be a mate bond. Did not see that coming, but so happy that it did. Then we have a love triangle, because of course we need one of those. Callum wants to be with Aurora. Blake is Aurora's mate. And Aurora's just caught in the middle of all this and doesn't know what she wants. So talk about a massive love triangle, especially, again, Aurora doesn't know about this mate bond until literally almost the end of the book. I figured this out so soon. I was like, girl, get a clue. Come on. Come on. It's right there. Let's go.
It's in front of you.
It's literally in front of you. Come on. So next we have Touch Her and Die. So Callum has been extremely protective of Aurora from the moment he first met her, and that just doesn't really change in this book. Although I'd argue that it lessens to a slight degree. He definitely gets jealous. Meanwhile, Blake's protective nature over Aurora grows significantly in this book, and he even exhibits guarding behavior now. So he would burn the world down for her and kill anyone who touches her, and Callum would burn the world down for her. So I'm just like, don't touch her. Like, if you want this world to
Right.
survive, like, nobody touch her, basically.
Well, except in a
but
different way.
but you can also touch her in other ways. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Touch her and we will burn. We're like, oh
Ooh.
my.
And she will too.
Yes, she will too.
Hopefully. All right. In terms of every magical twist, the prologue starts in Blake's POV, which is a little surprising. It's the only chapter we get that's not told in Aurora's POV. And when you first read it, you're inclined to believe that Blake is having a dream that involves Aurora and that somehow
Yeah.
she's able to be present in the dream with him because of this life force connection that happened. But based on what we learned later about Blake, you start to question if this was more of a memory than a dream, or if these dreams only happen to occur because they're sleeping, and if the consequences of them could be real. So many potential options to consider. We're going to talk more about that in theories. Okay. But once Blake wakes up, he goes to the chapel. It's kind of like run down. Jack shows up, and a couple important things are mentioned during that conversation. Jack does not think that Blake should have shared his life force with Aurora. At the time, neither did I.
Yeah.
I was on Team Jack. That was a bad idea, Blake.
Yeah.
There are also reports that Knight's acolytes are gathering, and the Night Prince is creating an army in the Northlands for him to command. And then we have, okay, we're going to try this, and Megan's going to laugh. Fenrir?
Sure.
Fenrir?
Yeah.
Fenrir? We'll do Fenrir.
Fenrir?
I like that. Fenrir. And Alex are mentioned as possibilities for being the Night Prince. And Jake says he'll send someone to monitor the Grey Keep. And at the time, I thought like literally nothing of this, except that maybe one of these guys were connected to the God of the Night. My theory in the beginning of this book was that Blake was the Night Prince. That's something we theorized. But major breadcrumbs for what happens later. Blake can feel Aurora through the bond, which sounds like it might be problematic because she's a half-wolf who's about to go through the transition. Yeah. Different than perimenopause that other people are currently going through. But basically, this transition gives you a lot of strong sexual desires. And Jack tells Blake he needs to learn to block it out or it's going to drive him insane. And while we don't know this at the time, Jack is very worried about this connection because Blake and Aurora are mates. We just think it's because they've shared this life force. And then this is the first time we see this kind of like symbol of a key with 2 crescent moons, which is the symbol for Knight's prison. And then that Knight, or the God of the Night, doesn't want blood, he wants souls. I was like, that doesn't sound great.
That sounds like K-pop demon hunters to me.
Right, I'm just like, this sounds horrible.
Boy.
And that Knight also wants the heart of the moon and would give unimaginable power to whoever gives it to him. So that's what we learn kind of like in this little Blake prologue.
Yeah, we're like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound great.
That does not sound great at all.
That's not good, no. So then in chapter 1, we are back in Aurora's POV, where we do remain for the rest of the book. So she has been awakened from another nightmare and starts to freak out just a little bit when Callum uses the same phrase to help her calm down that he did when they first met back in the kennels. And this starts to trigger her to remember killing Sebastian, which he deserved, of course, but, makes her panic, a little PTSD from that. And then Aurora tells Callum about Blake's plan to help Callum become the Wolf King, and then challenge him for the throne. And since he knows Callum won't kill him because, basically, since he's connected to Aurora, that would hurt Aurora. And weirdly enough, Callum just, finds this hilarious. He's like, of course that would be the reason. That explains why Blake helped us, because he's a douchebag who is only looking out for himself. This is Callum's version, of course.
Yeah.
But we do get a little breadcrumb that you may not have noticed when you first read the book, because Callum mentions the look on Blake's face when he saw Aurora dying, and how Callum started to think, but then cut himself off before finishing a thought. And you're like, wait, what? And that's one of our first clues that Callum has suspected that Aurora and Blake were mates since she almost died, and he was legitimately distraught. But he was just like, nah, I'm just going to look for another reason for why Blake may have helped her. It's like, keep telling yourself that, buddy. Keep telling yourself that. So then Callum and Aurora agreed that they need to break this connection between her and Blake. Callum also believes that Blake will kill him when Callum is challenged for the throne, because he won't want to seem weak like James has in the past, basically when James and Callum had that whole bit and Callum had to forfeit. So now we're going to have to wonder if Callum might think Blake will want to kill him because of the mate bond that Callum suspects the two of them have, Dude, it's gonna be a mess. And it would definitely just be like one way to get Callum out of the way and allow Blake to move in on Aurora, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So then we get like a small little spicy scene where it's like a little tiny spicy scene where
Hmm.
Aurora tells Colin once again not to be a gentleman. And I was like, yes. And she challenges him to take care of her since she's hurt. And she also mentions how it could help her go to sleep because clearly she knows the science about orgasms and
True.
sleep,
True.
right?
She heard from Poppy.
Facts.
It's true. Yeah, facts.
So, yeah, facts. So Colin starts to go down on Aurora and then like stops abruptly, which is very rude when he realizes she's burning up and then she blacks out. And I was like, that's not the kind of blackout that you want to have.
No, no.
So while she's out of it, she can hear like bits and pieces of Colin's conversation with Blake about how her body is trying to reject her wolf and how she'll go through phases like this until she shifts for the first time. And then she also starts to see like various memories of Blake's, even though she's not realizing it at the time. And then she ends up walking or sleepwalking into Blake's room and straddling him and placing a knife to his throat before Blake takes her back to Callum. And I was like, we want to fuck him and kill him? I mean,
Love-hate relationship.
I kind of get it.
I mean, I kind of get it. Yeah.
I kind of get it. So then she's another interesting vision of being a puppet and then seeing the key with the crescent moon and symbol. When she finally wakes up, she's like, oh, that was just hallucinations because of her fever. I'm like, girl, I mean. So later that morning, Aurora is told to meet Blake in the council chambers where he's already meeting with Callum, Jack, and Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay. Look at me.
Look at you go. So proud of you.
So proud. All right, that's
also next part.
Elsie?
No. Odekvara.
Oh, I was saying, okay. Well, I will pause when we talk about that. Okay. This is also when we first meet Elsie, who we learn later is Blake's sister. And the purpose of this meeting is to have Lachlan come to.
Well, now I think I'm saying it right. The Odekvara.
Yeah.
Like that.
Basically, it's what happens during the lunar eclipse. It's tied to the Elder Wolf story that we've all heard before. And basically, it's the night god. I can't.
Good enough.
The night god. And he
now
moves
I
the
gotta
moon
double check that
goddess
I'm saying this right.
to a different cell in his prison every night so she can never be found. So like every 2.5 years, he moves her so deep inside the prison that the light cannot touch the earth, i.e. the lunar eclipse. And they perform a ritual on this night. So that is what we're talking about.
Callum does not believe that the Alpha Lachlan can be trusted. Of course not. But Blake believes they need him. But Lachlan has the second largest army in the Northlands, and they share a mutual enemy in James. Great. Isn't that fun when you can just bond over an enemy? So nice.
Right.
Like, you hate them, I hate them too. Let's be friends. And skip off into the sunset. So Blake believes they have a short window to move effectively against James, and they need Lachlan to do it. Unfortunately, Callum believes that Lachlan... I'm just going to keep doing an accent. It's fun. Lachlan may also have a reason to not like Callum, which is probably true. And technically also Aurora, because Sebastian, killed one of his alphas. Go figure. Like, when he's out there looking for Aurora, he's like, oh, I'm going to kill one of you. Not a great step.
Not great.
No. And then Blake thinks that Lachlan will find Aurora delightful, but it doesn't matter because Blake has already invited him. Like, oh, well, it's fine. Okay. So then we learn that James sent a note to Callum about how he's holding Fiona hostage until Callum turns over Aurora. And I'm like, dude, leave Fiona alone. She's a sweetheart.
Also, women are not property.
Right? Yeah, it's like, no, you don't own me. No. But it turns out that the wolf law dictates that when a half-wolf is bitten, if they end up surviving, then they become part of the clan of whoever bit them. So the alpha of that clan must take responsibility of them, aka James. So if James wasn't the king, though, because king goes above alpha, then technically Aurora would be Callum's, because Callum is that alpha of the clan. But again, since James is king, he outranks Callum, so James has a claim to her. No, big boo. So again, wolf law requires Aurora to be turned over to James if he is to ask for her. So we're like, what the fuck? She is not your property. And this is like just as bad as basically what happened with Sebastian and her dad. She's just like, what the hell? Like, don't I get a say in any of this? But no, you are a property to men. And that's pretty much What Aurora actually ends up saying to them, she's like, don't I get a say? And they're like, what do you
No,
mean? No.
no. I feel like they like kind of want to pat her on the head. Oh, like you're so sweet. No,
Honey, you're so cute. You think you got a say in this? You're a woman. No. And she's like,
no.
I will fuck you up.
I feel like she really comes into her own in this book and like
Good.
starts to stop tolerating
Yeah.
their bullshit.
Her
So Blake's
transition is very good. And not
it is
just,
very good.
the other transition.
But Blake,
female empowerment. Yeah.
yes, very much. I agree. So Blake suggests that the solution could be another alpha could claim Aurora before James officially asks for her return. I'm like, what? So another alpha would bite her, announce her as part of their clan in front of the witness. And the claim is even stronger if it's at a celestial event or in the presence of a priestess. Breadcrumbs for what's about to happen at this upcoming ritual. And while it seems like that's like the best solution for Aurora's maybe safety, she refuses to let Colin bite her. And he takes it almost like she's rejecting him. And I'm like, or maybe she doesn't want to get bitten by another man. Wolf.
Wolf. Man wolf.
Man wolf. So when Blake and Aurora are alone, he asks about what she remembers from her nightmares, but she acts like nothing has happened. And then they do discuss this life force connection between the two of them, how Aurora feels like a thread of light to Blake and he feels like darkness to her. And then he mentions how he puts a cage around his emotions to prevent himself from touching her thread of light. This, I think, is something that's going to be really important. I mean, it comes up later in this book, but I think it's going to be really important in the third book. Aurora also mentions to Blake about how she made friends with a man in the Southlands once and learned he was plotting against her father, and he ended up dying as a result. And at first I was like, this is like another innocuous statement at the time, but it's not, because it's a breadcrumb for like Alexander, who's going to show up later in the book and is definitely not dead. Well, at least when he shows up in the book, he's dead later. So Blake also insinuates that he's sorry he couldn't give her what she wanted when she showed up in his bed. And then I lost it because I was just like, she's going to be clutching her pearls, right? Because she's shocked because she assumed that was a dream until he mentions it. And then we also see her internally fight off this desire to bite Blake. Almost like I thought her wolf knows that they're mates and wants to claim him.
So then Callum and Aurora are taken to a larger room that used to be the room of the former Alpha Bruce. And we know that Blake killed Bruce in the infirmary and didn't want to take over his room. So at this point in the book, we don't know why Blake killed the former Alpha Bruce, but we assume it's merely because he wanted power, which does not end up being the reason. But again, at this time, we're like, Blake's power hungry, so that's got to be the reason, right?
Like that checks, right?
That checks out, of course. Who doesn't? So there is some building sexual tension between Callum and Aurora, but he won't do anything about it. It's really annoying. Because he's like,
very annoying.
Well, last time I went down on you, it provoked your wolf and like sent you into a 3-day fever. And I'm like, okay. But getting so much pleasure that you have to like sleep it off for 3 days sounds great. I'm like, sign me up. Let's go. But alas, nothing spicy happens here. Boo.
Boo.
So then later, Callum and Aurora stumble upon the chapel that we saw Blake in at the beginning of the book. And it is like super run down where the night acolytes worship the knights. Kind of creepy. So we also learned that before the first men and the elder wolf, knights monsters roamed the earth. And these are fucking terrifying things. They're like soul suckers, winged beasts, water serpents. Oh, scary, scary, scary. No thank you. So what happened was all of Night's monsters were then imprisoned along with Night. And then the Night acolytes want to now free the dark god from his prison, because that sounds like a great idea. And they believe that the heart of the moon is the key to doing so. Might be, but is this a good idea? No, it is not. So then the Night acolytes also sacrifice people. Lovely. Lovely. Good sacrifice. Always fun. And they do this in the hopes that Night will bless them with his dark powers. This is also, again, when Aurora sees the symbol for Night in the chapel and recognizes it, but just can't remember from where. She's like, that looks familiar. It's like, was I sacrificed in a previous life? God, I hope not, but...
Or maybe I saw that in a dream and I thought it was not real.
Right, yeah.
Huh.
And then I woke up straddling someone. See?
Oh, whoopsies.
Whoops, how'd that get there?
Then we get another scene where Aurora is desperately wanting more from Callum sexually, and he is struggling to give her anything more than a grinding episode, especially when his wolf wants to bite her. Apparently, Colin wants to wait to do anything sexually with her until she's shifted for the first time, and then he promises that he will let his wolf side off the leash at that point.
Oh
And
my
I was
God, I
like,
love.
and I was like,
It's so funny for
please,
like how much they like do kind of take offense to like the doggy terms like kennel and
yes,
shit
or dog,
and like collar and dog, and it's just like, but then they also kind of like lean into it.
yes, I'm okay.
They're
I
like the
mean,
leash. I mean, if it's in a sexy way, it's fine.
it reminded me
Doggy
of.
style.
Do you remember in the Blood and Ash series where Castile's like, you haven't seen me lose control? And like, then we finally see him lose control. And I'm like, that was really hot. I'm like, is that going to be what this is? We don't get that in this book. But I was just like,
No,
do not
don't
make
tempt me.
promises that you're not going to keep
Yes,
calm.
right? Yeah, seriously. Like, I was told this leash was gonna
I'm
come
s-
off. And
right. So I
depends.
had
More.
expectations.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but he does mention that Aurora at least smells like him now, right? So at least the grinding accomplished something. So it's the night of
yeah,
this ritual. They hike up a nearby mountain. Colum has forgot that Aurora is a princess and does not
yeah,
hike.
yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like when people want me to
She
go
doesn't
do
go
hiking
camping.
things,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
It's like, I'm sorry,
what?
you confused me
I'm
with
sorry.
someone else. No, you shall
Exactly.
carry me.
I need like 7 days notice.
Yeah.
So,
And then I'll come up with an excuse for why I can't go.
right? And I'm gonna
I'm
need like
sick.
4 massages
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So we learned that even though they're going to leave the safety of the castle, they don't have to worry about anything because bloodshed is forbidden on this night, according to Wolf Law. And I'm really curious if we can get a book on Wolf Law because I feel like all these little things keep popping up that might be really helpful to know ahead of time. But during this hike, another man walks by Aurora and starts talking to her, and she assumes and like thinks to herself it's just another one of Blake's clan members. But I
Mm-hmm.
immediately thought it had to be Lachlan trying to get information out of her before he revealed his identity. Because like they
Mm-hmm.
kept saying how there wasn't a lot of people in the castle, like as part
Mm-hmm.
of Blake's clan. And I'm like, I feel like you know all of them. Especially when he shares how Blake collects broken birds and he mentions the man with one eye, the abused woman, and the half wolf from the docks, and now the Southlands princess. And then he comments about how Colin loves a damsel in distress and alludes to how Aurora let Colin save her from her impending marriage to Sebastian. We're going to talk a lot about this damsel in distress, I think, multiple times
Mm-hmm.
in this episode because Colin, I was on Team Colin so strongly, but
Mm-hmm.
when he said this, I was like, shit.
Yeah. It's giving me
It's-
Tamlin vibes at that point. I'm like,
It
oh
really
no.
was, but I don't think he's like Tamlin because
No.
Tamlin is Tamlin.
Yeah.
I feel like he's more like I don't know, Lucian. If we had to compare him to
Or
someone,
or maybe like Dane. Like
Y-
truly
oh,
does love and wants the best, but just isn't the best at acting out on it.
he's kind of
Ish.
like Dane.
Yeah.
He might be like Dane,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
but
he's
in
a good
wolf
boy.
form.
But in Wolf, yeah.
He's like a good man, but he needs some
Need
help.
some guidance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Lachlan finally, announces his presence, and he has red hair like Aurora, which is something I noticed. Because, like,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he admits to Colin that there's no ill will between them, and he likes Aurora. So Blake was right. She is delightful. And then this
Yeah.
is also where we learn that Lachlan plans to stay at Blake's for a few nights, so they have plenty of time to talk politics later. I'm like, okay.
Cool. Okay. All right. But then we get to the ritual. And oh boy, gee howdy. It's fun. So the priestess is there and she scolds the little boy Alfie, calling him an abomination who is tainted by darkness. And I'm like, you don't talk to children that way. You
So
do
angry.
not do that. Children are innocent until proven guilty. But really, it's just like, you know what? They're kids. Leave them alone. And also,
They're
like,
little angels.
he's a little angel face. Like, come on. Leave him alone. And again, Aurora agrees with us and refuses to tolerate Alfie being treated this way and says something to the priestess, basically just like, fuck off, you know? And the priestess then accuses Elsie of being promised to the god of the night and refuses to conduct the ceremony when a god of the night supporter is in attendance. And I'm just like, get the fuck off your high horse. Like,
Right?
just stop it. You are a bad priestess. Again, it kind of reminds me of the priestess from Akatar. You know, we're just
Well,
like,
it also makes me think of like how, Aurora was beaten by, we know like a
A
priest, but maybe a
priestess.
priestess as well, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
She already doesn't like
peop
him. Which I wouldn't
people in
either.
glass houses shouldn't throw rocks.
Mm-hmm. 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 So, and Blake, agrees and decides to make the priestess apologize. And when she doesn't, he like full on is like, I'm threatening you with your life, basically. I'm going to do all these terrible things. I'm going to inflict so much pain on you. He's like, and it won't involve bloodshed. You will want to wish you're dead. She's like, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's like when your kids say they're sorry and they're not
Yeah.
really sorry, but they know that's like the only way to be done with the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. But Elsie is not feeling comfortable at this point. She's just like, fuck this shit. And she like leaves the ritual and warns Blake not to do anything to the priestess. She's like, just leave it, whatever. And Blake confirms to Aurora that Elsie does not worship the night, but she is tainted by her father's choices. We're like,
What does that mean, right?
what does that
Yeah,
mean?
tell
I
me
want to
more.
know. And then fucking James shows up, and you're like, who invited you? You don't go here. You were not
No.
invited. Get out. And he shows up with a bunch of his guys, and he announces that Callum has something that belongs to him, and he wants it back, aka Aurora. And then James super provokes Aurora, asking if she wants to cause another war and allow countless wolves to die. And it's like, dude, no, she doesn't. She doesn't want this. But he's like, again, insinuating like she just came up to the Northlands and stirred up trouble with the wolves on behalf of her father. Like she's working both sides, like all this shit. And Callum then argues that James is actually the one who caused that war between the two of them by attacking the woman that he loves. And we're like, yeah, but he said the L word. He said the L word. First time ever. And she's like, wait, you love me? Like, what? This would have been nice to know, like, in private. And
right?
before you, like, announced it to all the people here. Kind of awkward. It's like, maybe we shouldn't have done this here. And he's like, oops.
Is that the only time he says that in the entire book? I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember him saying it again.
Yeah, so then you're kind of like, is that love? Is that love? You are in lust. But so then Blake comes in and apologizes to Aurora and then bites her shoulder. And you're like, she's like, what the fuck are you doing? But he does this on purpose to mark her with his bite to then try and like overpower basically James' old bite and saying like, okay, well now she's part of my clan. Like I bit her, so now she's mine. And I'm like, this is not finders keepers, okay? Like you don't just get to go around biting.
Who bites her last gets it. It's like last word. Last bite.
It's like, but now I'm like, okay, will you bite me? Hi,
like,
can I get bit?
Can
somebody bite me, please?
But not in a public setting.
Yeah, maybe not in front of everybody here when there's like a war about to break out. Like, but it kind of is interesting that he does this because it's very strategic. And then James all of a sudden decides to respect the wolf law and he leaves peacefully. But it's not clear like exactly like why he does this. I'm like, this is strategic on your part, I'm sure. But he's like, I'm going to respect wolf law. And now Aurora belongs to him. So, it's fine. We're good. It's like, I don't know.
Really?
It's almost like he wanted this to happen. Because now this is going to ruin that alliance between Blake and Callum. So again, it makes us wonder now if James was like, I think there is a bond between Blake and Aurora. And I'm going to make them prove it. And I'm going to fuck this shit up with my brother Callum. Very possible. But then before James leaves, he stirs the pot even more. He's like, before I go, let me mention one little thing right here. One of Lachlan's clan members, Ian, Ian's brother is being held in the Borderland dungeons, and the new lord there has offered to release all of the wolf prisoners in exchange for Aurora. So, drops the mic. And then he suggests that he's like, I am not the enemy, and I will even pardon Callum for treason if Callum kneels before me, and then will allow Aurora to be used however I see fit in this war against the South. He's like, and I promise I won't hurt her. And it's like,
wink, wink. Fingers crossed.
Wink. He's like, oh, but by the way, I will execute Blake. And Callum's like, that does sound tempting, because he's like, you want this guy gone, right? Like, he's trying to steal your girl. Like, I'll kill him for you. No worries. He's like, this will, make you feel better. But He does not know his brother as well as he thinks because Callum refuses and tells his brother, like, fuck off and I'll see you later. You know, like, I'll see you soon. So he goes, and then Aurora turns to Blake, just slaps him. Just like, what the fuck? Like, why did you bite me? What are you trying to instigate here? How dare you? And Callum literally starts to, like, choke Blake because he's pissed off. He's like, what the fuck did you do? But again, because Blake and Aurora are connected, that starts to hurt Aurora. So he has to stop. But he, like, literally is like, I promise one day I will kill you. I will end you. And it's like, well, you might kill Aurora too. So make sure that bond is broken first.
Calm down.
Calm down.
So later that night, we get a fight, like a spicy scene where Callum and Aurora have sex because he can't wait till after the full moon. Neither could we. And his wolf is feeling very antsy because Blake bit her. And then there's two things to point out in this scene. So Callum mentions how his wolf presses against his skin like Aurora is the moon, which is a super major breadcrumb for her being the heart of the moon. Like we theorized at the end of the first book. And then after, I was just like, ugh! And then I started noticing every single time like that was said. And then after they both orgasm, Callum comments on how Aurora is mine. And she has this small voice inside her head that tells her she belongs to no one. And so Callum's determination to think Aurora is belonging to him has to be like that deep-rooted fear of like Aurora potentially being Blake's mate. While Aurora's desire to not belong to anyone is likely tied to the fact that she has true power as the heart of the moon. So, next we continue to see Blake and Aurora. Like Aurora has these dreams where Blake is present and she doesn't always realize it. Sometimes she can see him, sometimes she can't. One of the new additions is she sees herself as a statue in the palace gardens where she's like kind of almost like frozen in cement. And she screams like get out to herself and is asked when she's going to fight. I assume like Blake is the one asking her when she's going to fight. When she wakes up, she feels pulled towards the hallway. So like another like this tether feeling to Blake. He's outside just kind of like being creepy in the hallway outside her room. And he's staying there with a vial of moonflower. And immediately I was like, Lachlan gave him a bunch of moonflower. And I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And it will help fade the scar from his bite. That way it doesn't leave like a permanent mark, which would further anger Callum. But then the next morning, Callum mentions how he and Aurora could potentially bring peace to both of their kingdoms, insinuating a marriage alliance. And I'm like, how every girl wants to be spoken to about marriage.
Propose.
No. And it should make Aurora happy, though, because it would allow her to theoretically marry for love, which is not something she ever thought she'd be able to do. However, it really doesn't, because Colin would have to make a deal with her father. But and that's why she thinks that she's not excited about it. But this is when I started thinking, like, I don't think that's Aurora. I think it's because there's something else holding you back. You just don't know what it is yet. And I think it's the bad boy that we're not supposed to love.
It's like he's the Dean and Blake is like the Jesse of Gilmore Girls. You know? It's like Dean's the one you should want to be
I
with.
was a Logan girl.
Oh man, I loved Logan too, don't get me wrong.
Like,
but I was very much like, ooh, good boy, bad boy. Dean, Jesse. Go Jess.
We always pick the bad boy.
Jess.
Always.
We always pick the bad boy. I'm just like, oh, he's got a motorcycle and everything. So cute. Actually, Dean had a motorcycle in the end, but still, whatever. I was kind of team Jess. But then I liked Logan too. It's hard. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we're getting into the fall season, so my mind's on Gilmore Girls now, so.
And Colin calls her Rory. I mean, we talked about this last episode.
Exactly.
Like,
so it's just like,
we can't help it.
We can't help it. It's there, you know. So additionally, Aurora finds out that a alpha can actually force other wolves in their clan to submit to obey the alpha's will. Kind of like a little compulsion thing, alpha power, otherwise known as Anna, which it's weird because it's spelled Aithne, but Gaelic pronounced Anna or Anne. Weird. It's a rarely used practice, and if it is used and that person resists, then it basically calls into question who the stronger wolf is, which can then lead to a challenge, which is bad news bears or bad news wolves. So, and again, they now will know if Blake is officially her alpha if the bite doesn't heal, and if he uses that patient to force her to submit. So, we're kind of like, are you gonna use the Anna to make her submit or not? Are you her alpha? Are you not her alpha? Who knows? So Aurora then decides to spend some time in the library, our favorite place to be as well. And she is reading as many books as possible, mainly books to help her find a way to break the bond between her and Blake. Rightfully so. And this is when we see her starting to like bite on her fingers, like tearing up the skin. And this is more than just like she's biting her nails because she's nervous. She's like going at it, like legit, like bleeding sometimes,
Yeah.
like really going for it. And you're like, that's not good. That's
That's
not
not
good.
healthy.
Do you have pica? Like, what's going on? Like, you need to like just be eating something. So then, while she's in the library, Aurora runs into Elsie and Alfie and learns that Elsie has the knight symbol on her. It's like, how? What?
How?
Why? Tell me
Who
more.
gave that to you?
Who did that? Yeah. Elsie then shares that her father worshipped the god of the night and meant to sacrifice Elsie to him. I'm sorry, what?
No.
What? No, we do not sacrifice
Like,
people.
She's your
Especially not
daughter.
your own children. Like, no, don't do that. That's bad. And then the night before Elsie was supposed to be sacrificed, she prayed to the gods, and her brother came and killed her father. And you're like, oh shit. But then it gets better. She drops the bomb that Blake is her brother. I'm sorry. What?
What? I didn't see that coming.
Did not see that coming. So I'm like, so your brother Blake came to save you from being sacrificed from your father and killed his own father.
Who was Bruce, the alpha?
Who was Bruce, the alpha. And you're like,
Who worshipped the night?
who worshipped the night. So you're like, it feels like that math problem. You're just like, what is happening here? Oh my God. So crazy. They're related. That whole shit went down. But then also, Elsie's like, by the way, my brother likes you. He mentioned this to me. He likes you. It's kind of like a middle school thing where it's like, check yes, check no. Like, he likes you. But then she's like, but by the way, Blake is now going to go to war over you. So, yes, my brother is dangerous. And he, kind of can love people like fiercely. And it doesn't hurt to have someone like him on your side, though.
She's
He's
not
very
wrong.
powerful. Yeah, right? I'm like, well, yeah, okay. But then Elsie kind of becomes like our own favorite little like Miss Willa in a way. And she gives her a spicy book to read. And we're like, Elsie, what you doing, girl? What you doing? What you stirring that pot?
And also, thank you.
And also, thank you so much. So it's another little breadcrumb here that Elsie can see this connection between Blake and Aurora, and she's just kind of trying to help Aurora to see it too. She's like, take this little book, do some light reading, some enjoyment, some smut book reading. Fine. It's good.
You'll
for
love
you.
it.
It's healthy. You're welcome. And then when Aurora sees Blake later, he pokes a little bit of fun at her for reading that book, and then he takes it away from her. Like, literally just like, ha ha ha, what's this? Oh, this is mine now. She's like, give that back.
I know.
You.
He doesn't. How dare him?
A little tease. Such a little tease.
Yeah. On so many levels. So then Elsie takes Aurora into town to shop for a dress for this upcoming feast. And it's like you get to see Aurora start to make a friend because she really has not made friends. Fiona's kind of like a friend, but I feel like Fiona treats her that way because of who she is to Callum, not necessarily like because of like she enjoys Aurora, at least initially. And they have like a normal experience. So this is like Aurora's like first normal experience, I think, since she's left the palace. And we learn a lot. So Aaron and Alfie go with them. Aurora realizes that Aaron looks strangely familiar, and he mentions that he worked for her father. He also supposedly owes Blake his life and would follow him anywhere. Not all of the towns all the wolves in the town wear the low-fell tartan. Some wear the color from when Bruce was still the alpha because they wanted to remind Blake that they supported his father, not him.
Even though his father was about to murder his daughter.
Right. Which apparently they're fine with because they also sacrifice people to the night, I guess.
Fuck.
Right? So fucked up. So Blake banned worshipping of the night god, which didn't go over well with some of the older wolves. I can see that. You gotta love the boomers. Aaron has struggled with alcoholism in the past, so like they're kind of a little worried and making sure he just has apple juice when he's out with Alfie. And then Alfie isn't Elsie's biological son. His mother was Elsie's friend, and her husband killed her and almost killed Alfie. So then Elsie took Alfie in and raised him as her own. Who's the asshole that did this? Magnus. I was like, what?
That tracks.
it just tracked, but it also like surprised me, and that is why Blake has such a strong hold over making Magnus do whatever he wants. And I was like, well, that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron and Elsie aren't together, but they have been in the past when they've had an itch to scratch.
Mm-hmm.
But Elsie can't be with him because Aaron's soul belongs to someone in King City, and Elsie wants someone who belongs only to her. And that's kind of like the first, which is very interesting the way it's mentioned, right? So we're led to believe, obviously, that he has some sort of former love. But she doesn't mention it being like Aaron has a mate.
Yeah,
so then Elsie,
soul. Yeah.
just like a soul, right? And so then Aaron asks Aurora if she's read the book yet and mentions, Aurora's like, well, your brother took it. And Elsie's like, I will get you another one. And I'm like a good friend. Like a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
So then Aaron is in a dark mood on the way home, and he tells Elsie, and Aurora's like overhearing them, that the night acolytes might be rising once more. There are rumors the Night Prince is getting ready to free his master, which could complicate things. And I'm like, no, it could not complicate things. That sounds really fucking bad. Does not sound like a complication.
Yeah. No, that sounds like end of the world shit. Like,
right.
This could be a complication in life.
Right? Like, and people being alive, then yes.
That's a complication. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what do you think a real fucking problem is, Aaron?
Yeah, good God. So then, when they're back, Aurora sneaks into the infirmary to steal some various poisons. Okay, yeah. What you gonna do with that, honey? What you gonna do with that? And then when they get back, Aurora sneaks into the infirmary to steal some various poisons. And you're like, what are you doing with that, honey? What's going on? What you doing? What's you gonna use that for? And Blake shows up and is like, are you here because you want to know why I bit you? Are you trying to figure out why I'm interested in biting you again? And Aurora's like, you probably bit me because you just wanted to provoke Callum because you're a dick. And Blake's like, no. That had nothing to do with it and nothing to do with him. And he's like, and he mentions just very vaguely like how she could have been a queen. And she still could be. And you're like, what?
Excuse me, what?
Pardon-moi? What do you mean I could be a queen?
Tell me more.
Tell me more, yeah. Where are my jewels? Where are my jewels? Let's go. And then Blake also says that he could feel Aurora getting ready to go with James. And Callum isn't ready to fight James yet. So he's like, I needed to de-escalate the situation because it was not going to go well for anyone. And Blake simply says he had to play the villain to keep Aurora from playing the hero.
Oh.
I mean, I guess. That's kind of romantic. That's kind of sweet.
Right?
Also, yeah, it's like,
oh my God,
I'm torn.
Damn it.
I'm torn now. Now I like you. And then he also mentions that he doesn't want Callum getting territorial about Aurora and acting irrationally, which is totally why Blake gave her the Moonflower to help the bite heal. He's like, let's get rid of the evidence, let's smooth things over. It's fine. It's good.
It's confusing, like, Megan. That's what it is.
Confusing. I know it is. But then Aurora, our sweet girl, basically is just like, you know what? Fuck you. And like throws some wolfsbane on him, which causes him to get a rash, like immediately. But interesting enough, it has no impact on her, like at all whatsoever. And we're like, Why? And she's assuming, it's because I was dosed with wolfsbane all the time when I was younger. But Blake's like, no, I've been doing the same thing to myself, but I still have a reaction all the time. So a little breadcrumb again about Aurora being the heart of the moon. And then he suggests Aurora let him run some experiments on her. I'm like, I don't think that's going to go well. And she also is like, I don't think that's going to go well. And she refuses because she starts thinking about all the experiments that she's read about in her books. And those things were actually, we know that those are things that were done to Blake, but she thinks that's things that Blake did to other wolves. She's like, I'm not going to be one of your, little patients that you do experiments on. And he's just like, you don't know what you're talking about.
He doesn't correct her, though. That's what
it is. Yeah.
He doesn't really lie to her, but he doesn't correct her when she makes assumptions that are definitely incorrect.
Yeah. And he's always just like, you'll figure it out. Let me know when you figure it out. It's like, God damn it, just tell me.
He also calls her darling a lot, I noticed.
He went from
and she doesn't pick up on that either.
Yeah. Went from like little rabbit, little pet to darling.
Darling.
Like, pet names. Now we're going from actual pets to pet names.
You guys were falling for the bad boy in book one. We're like, I think it was like at this point I was kind of on, what if we had both? Train.
Is this a why choose? Are we making a why choose?
And then
it's okay.
Later, I quickly get on the, nope, I'm on the Team
Right.
Blake train.
Yeah, yeah. But to Callum is not on that train though. Callum is
No.
like, what the fuck? And he runs into Blake and Aurora together, seriously so pissed, and starts prodding Blake about how you shouldn't bite a woman without her consent. And I'm like, true, true. But Callum, you're not like necessarily like, you know, the best here either.
Yeah.
And but like that was like a legit like kind of bad thing to say to Blake because it totally triggers for him like the memories of for his mom because his mom was raped. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Fuck you for telling me about consent. Like I know all about that shit." So he pokes back by telling him to look at Aurora's fingernails. And she's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Now tell me if you want to keep your pet in the castle." It's like, "Okay." He's like, "You need to look after her. You need to take care of her." Because it turns out that wolves have like a really big like oral fixation about biting. Go figure. And like you need to take care of her, dude. Like she's like hurting herself. So if you really care about her, like you do that first. And then Callum's like, okay, Aurora, you can like bite me if you want. If you need to bite something, bite me. And she claims she doesn't want to do it, even though she really does. She's like, I don't need to bite. I don't know what you're talking about. But she's like, God damn it, I want to bite you.
This is
I bite you so
also
bad.
when I realized that everything, like, Callum has not told her a single thing about what it's like to be a wolf.
I know, right?
Like, it was at this point when Blake said, like, that to her, I was like, she's been told nothing. Like, you're supposed to be her partner, and you have been 0% helpful, Callum. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah. Yeah. You've not helped her at all.
No, he is not. Okay, so it's time for the feast. One of many feasts that we see, but a lot happens. So Lachlan is like, it's time to talk politics. He has 3 conditions for supporting Callum. He gets one of his previous territories back that Sebastian took. Done. Easy. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know if Kai or any of the other wolves from that clan are dead. If not, he wants them back. Okay, that seems like okay. And he wants a private audience with Aurora. And I'm like, to do what to her?
Why? Yeah.
Why?
What do you want?
I have questions. And then Blake claims that the Lord of the Borderlands is Sebastian's brother, Alexander. And Aurora's like, that's impossible. He's dead. And Blake's like, no, he's not. And I'm like, this is when I was like, that has to be the guy that she mentioned earlier that she became friends with or whatever. And then Jack is going to find out if Kai or any other clan members are still alive. Jack is like the person you send on errands. Like, go into these dangerous situations. You may not come back. Let me know what happens.
See ya.
So,
And boy.
Claire then shows up, and she's James's former lover because we heard her name mentioned in the first book. And apparently, Callum tried to bed her at one point too, according to Lachlan. And it was at this point that I was just like, fucking Callum.
Last book. Now you've turned into a fucking Callum.
I know. I was like, we've had a hard time not saying that because of the Blood and Ash series and the Flesh and Fire series, where we refer to someone as fucking Callum. We got that out of our head in the Wolf King. We had high hopes for you, and I was like, fucking Callum, what do you mean you tried to bed your brother's woman?
Keep it in the pants.
Keep it in your pants. So
I guess if you're a wolf, you don't have pants.
Well, he does wear a kilt. You just don't keep it in your kilt. So Claire is the alpha of her clan now, and she's on the way to negotiate a potential alliance with James because she needs to move her people south. But she wanted to listen to what Callum had to say first. And I'm like, is this where we're playing, like, which brother do I fuck? Like, what's going on here? So,
instead of a love triangle, it's now becoming like a love, like, rhombus almost. Right. And it's just like all sorts of sideways shit.
It's like a real white shoes. There's so many options.
Yeah.
So, Lachlan dances with Aurora and makes a few comments about her mom, and how not many people knew her true identity. And they hope she would be able to overthrow Aurora's father one day and bring about a new era for the wolves. But perhaps hope is not lost yet. And I was like, this feels like another breadcrumb. I don't think we learn everything that Lachlan knows in this book. So, and I don't know
like a little bit of a Kieran.
He's a little bit of like a Kieran or a Draken, where he's like says things but then he's like, I can't tell you the whole damn truth. I'm like, you are not helpful.
Yes.
And he's like, you're not wise. And I'm like, well, because you won't tell me shit.
You're like, please educate me.
Educate me. I would love to know.
Yeah.
So Blake cuts in on the dance and Aurora refuses, and she basically taunts him to try and use his alpha power against her, and she can
Yeah.
feel it when he does, and she almost gives into it before she pushes it away. But then she likes to pretend like it worked, and she dances with him. And then I was pretty convinced that they might be mates, but it really hit me when her skin hummed when he touched her, and this thread between them started to vibrate, and I was like, you're fucking mates. Callum is
Fucking
gonna lose
mates.
his shit, or he's gonna lose his shit. So, and then Blake agrees to answer 3 questions with a yes or no. And so,
Wait, but also back to the Colin losing his shit. I mean, if you think about it, like, that's the second time that's happened to him now, right? Like, he tried to bed Claire, but Claire ended up being James's, you know. And now he's, like, trying to get with Aurora, but Aurora's going to end up being with Blake, and you're just like, aw. You kind of feel bad for the guy a little bit.
He could have Isla bitch.
Oh, yeah.
She wants him.
Yeah. What if he ends up being, like, mates with, like, Elsie or, like, Fiona?
Oh, can you imagine how pissed Blake would not tolerate
Blake
that?
Would be so pissed.
Be so mad. I kind of want to see that. I'd like to manifest that. Okay.
That'd be hilarious. Okay.
So here's what we learned from like the 3 question things. Blake does know how to break the bond. We learned that the book about the bond is not in Lofell. It's in his chambers at the previous castle where I'm not going to say its name because I will butcher it. Aurora asks Blake if he thinks she's beautiful, and he tells her to tread carefully because that's not a game she wishes to play. And I was just like, oh, like, that is way more hot than just saying yes. And then Aurora runs into Claire, who shares that she was supposed to have an arranged marriage to James, but they both fought it. And I'm like, good for you, girl. And then, but weirdly, secretly, they were courting each other, but no one knew about it. And I'm like, hold on. Like, you didn't want to marry James because your father told you to. More power to you. Love that. But you also like James. So, like, what would have happened if you guys decided you wanted to be together then? I have questions. Anyways. So then Callum. Yeah.
Real quick. The name of the castle back in Lofell, it's pronounced...
Or not in Lofell, the other one.
The other one, yeah. It's pronounced Madaw Ali, Alai, Madaw Alai, and it literally means dog or wild dog.
Ooh, I like that.
That's kind of
interesting. I'm not going to pronounce that correctly, so I will be saying
Irish term or Gaelic term for like wolf, and it's like wild dog wolf.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway, fun fact.
We also learned that Callum offered to marry Claire in James's place because Callum has a weakness for a damsel in distress. And I was like, so Claire says that Callum wanted to rescue her, not marry her. Sure. And I'm like, Callum, your stock is going down. Every time someone speaks your name, your stock goes down for me. And this is, I'm like, I love you.
It keeps repeating itself too.
It does. So Claire plans to support whoever wins the challenge between James and Callum. She's like, I don't really care who I go with. I just
want this to be over with. Just you guys figure it out and let me know what happens.
Yeah, like I just need someone, whoever is going to be the Wolf King, to allow my clan to move south. So whichever of it is, let me know. Yeah. She has like zero allegiance to either one, which is interesting, considering we learned later that they're mates.
Yeah.
So
fun times. So then Callum and Aurora are alone later that night. And Callum mentions that Claire believes night acolytes are rising once more. And there's talk about the Night Prince. And there's also something else bothering Callum that Aurora tries to get out of him, but he's like, you tell me. I'm like,
I fucking hate those comments.
Could you not be a child? Could you not be a child? Please. And again, it's really confusing when you first read it because you don't know what Callum is talking about until much later when we do find out that Callum saw her dancing with Blake. Like, you fucking little bitch. Yeah. And Aurora then pushes on whether or not Callum sees her as a damsel in distress or as his equal. And it's like, well, that's a good question because he has a track record of doing that. And he's just like, you're just asking that because you're jealous of Claire. It's like, oh my God, Callum, honey, I liked you. I want to still like you, but you're making it really hard because now you're being a little baby back bitch. Like,
I know.
But I mean, also, he's not wrong. Like, she is a little bit jealous. So,
I mean,
get it.
Wouldn't we all be?
Right, yeah, exactly. So, but you know, it's more than that. It really is. So Callum is so protective and careful around Aurora. He's like literally holding himself back and like holding her back. And Aurora again tries to provoke him, which I'm like, maybe don't poke the bear, don't poke the wolf, but let's have an open communication. But again, she's like, can you please just like stop holding back and like let's do all these bad things that you say you want to do. And he's like, no, we should probably wait until we're married. I'm like, what?
Like,
But then, yeah.
it's just, it was so funny because I'm like, he just keeps talking about like when I'm off, I'll, you know, when you shift, I'll be off my leash. I want to do all
Yeah.
these sexual things too that sound very intriguing, but I
Yeah.
can't. And I'm just like,
She's
stop
like,
it.
would you stop? She's like, stop saying you're gonna do all these things and let's just fucking do it. Like, stop saying we're gonna wait till we're married. Like, let's not wait until marriage. Like, let's just fucking do it. And he's like, fine, let's just get married. And, you know, just like proposes right then and there. And I'm like, was that the right reason to propose to somebody? Again.
I mean, the other previous time wasn't great either. I'm just like, you're real bad at this.
Like, you're really, really bad at that, dude. And she notices, like, something feels off. She's like, oh, that doesn't feel right. And she's like, hesitant right here. And again, it really doesn't help when Callum starts talking about how James has marked her and Blake has bound himself to her and claimed her as part of his clan. So Callum's like, well, now I want to claim you as my wife. Like, we are not property. We are not property.
No.
But then he does try to like even it out a little bit. And he's like, I want to be your husband and your equal. I'm like, well, okay, now you said the good stuff. Now you kind of said what we want to hear a little bit. So then we get a spicy scene where Callum goes down on Aurora. And I'm like, I'll be your equal. I'll be your equal there. That's fine. And then we have, you know, a little bit of sleepy times. You're like, you know, orgasms help you sleep. It's science. But she does have a nightmare now, which is not so great. And it's a partial memory, basically, of like what happened between her and Alexander. And he gets handsy in this dream. And it is not okay. And he makes like very sexual comments towards her and then threatens to kill her father. But then Blake shows up in the dream and kills Alexander and promises to keep Aurora safe from Alexander. We're just like, how?
Wait, what?
Am I still dreaming? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So the next morning, Aurora meets with Lachlan. We learn a lot of useful information because Lachlan has a lot more secrets to share, I think. So Sebastian was looking for the Heart of the Moon 6 months ago in Lachlan's territory. He believed it was there because it had been in the Snowlands at one time and was transported into the Northlands. And then I was like, she's the Heart of the Moon. I'm so convinced.
She is.
There was a storm the day Aurora's mother left her kingdom to marry Aurora's father, and the ship stopped in Lachlan's territory. A crop of moonflower grows on that cliff, a crop that's only supposed to grow when it's touched by the moon goddess's power, which is why I think Blake keeps giving her the moonflower to help her heal, and he doesn't give it to anyone else that we see. Lachlan asks if Aurora's mother ever gave her any jewelry with a precious stone in it, which she's like, well, my mom, she was like the queen. Of course she had jewelry, but like none that I think she cared about.
Yeah.
All alphas
nothing that would scream moonstone.
Like Heart of the Moon, right?
Yeah.
All alphas want to get their hands on the Heart of the Moon. Whoever holds it will become the most powerful wolf in the Northlands and likely king. Great. Kai and some other men are supposedly alive and being held by Alexander. That sounds real bad for them. If Callum wants Lachlan's army, they have to rescue Kai first. Does not sound great. And Lachlan believes there's a darkness in Blake, and he fears what will become of the Northlands under his command. But Lachlan also mentions how he is, like, drawn to the darkness himself, which I feel like makes me wonder, like, does Lachlan potentially worship the god of the night, or is he somehow connected? So, but on the night of the full moon, Callum has set up this, like, really romantic campfire for people that like campfires and camping. Not Megan and I. But for other people. With rugs and candles, and we get like a spicy scene where like he finger fucks her, and I think we're gonna get more, right? He's like comparing it to like how it feels to release your wolf on a full moon. I'm like, you're actually being helpful in two ways right now. One, you're telling Aurora about like what it's like to be a wolf, but then two, we're also gonna give her an orgasm. And then after she has one, she feels something tugging at her heart and soul. And then Callum assumes once again that he has so much sexual prowess that he has provoked the fever again and takes her to Blake. And I'm just like,
he's ruined her for other men or wolves.
Right? Why do men think that's how it works? Like, you're gonna ruin her for other men with your finger fucking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like your fingers and your cock are too powerful. I can't take anyone else ever.
Ever. Again. You sent me into a 3-day, stupor.
Sex coma.
I mean, that sounds...
Sounds good.
If only.
I mean, that is nice. Yeah, but... no. But yeah, so Aurora then is now lying on Blake's bed. And we're like, oh my.
To be honest, at this point, I was like, is this where the why choose part comes in?
I'm like, are we going to have a joining moment? Is that going to happen?
No.
The joining will forever live rent-free in my brain. Forever. You know?
Forever.
It's just going to happen.
And is it really the joining that lives rent-free in your brain, or is it the idea of the joining? Because
a little bit of both. Call me and
you
call
know
me.
what I mean?
Yeah. They're not mutually exclusive. It's okay.
No.
So then Aurora, is on his bed. And Blake demands that Callum take her out of there because he's like, what the fuck? Why did you do this? And then Aurora charges at Blake. And you're like,
Also.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Also. Mm-hmm. And then so Callum's over there trying to pull Aurora off of Blake. I notices they're acting really weird. He's like, what's going on between you two? What the fuck is happening? And Blake pokes the bear by now asking Aurora if she wants to fuck him or fuck Callum or fuck both at the same time. I have option C.
Option C. This is where I was like, oh, this is going to be a why choose. It was not.
Why choose? It was not. I know. I was just like, come on. And then Blake reiterates that Callum needs to, again, get Aurora out of his room. But he can't because if Callum moves, then his wolf is going to rip Blake's head off because they are so fucking pissed off at each other.
This is when I knew we were never getting a why choose. It was after that comment, I was like, we are never getting... The three of them will never be anything together.
No. He's going to kill him. He wants to kill him.
They will kill each other, yeah.
Yes. And their wolves start fighting. And Aurora now is feeling that pain that Callum is inflicting on Blake because, again, the bond. So then Callum stops because he's like, shit, I don't want to hurt Aurora. But then Blake's wolf basically pulls Aurora to him and will not let her go. Which, obviously makes Callum feel really happy. He's pissed.
Can you imagine, the wolf column just, having to sit there all night and stare at that?
He's just, pouting in the corner,
right.
This is fucked up. And because, Blake's just she's mine. She's mine. And then, Aurora, wakes up to find Blake literally sleeping on top of her, And she's just,
naked.
Yeah. And she's like, what the fuck is happening? And Callum's, literally pulling him off of her, and he's demanding now to know why Blake was guarding Aurora last night. And Blake, claims oh, just because of the life force, we share that, gotta make sure she's safe so I stay safe. No big deal. Callum doesn't buy that bullshit, and neither do we.
No.
And then Blake tries to tell us again that he has no interest in Callum's pet. Rude. And comments that Callum shouldn't have even brought her into Blake's room on the night of a full moon, which I'm like, true. What did you think was going to happen? You've already said before, full moons are going to make all your wolfy guys antsy and sexy and want to do shit. Yeah. So you're going to bring someone that he's interested in. Shit's going to go down.
Yep.
But more importantly here, Aurora realizes she didn't shift, and she was supposed to, right? Yeah. And that seems to make Callum a little bit happy. He's like, okay. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna basically play this off that he knew that she didn't want to shift, but it's more likely that he believes Aurora is not actually a wolf, which means she can't be Blake's mate. And he's like, yay, this is good news for me. And then Callum whisks her off and takes her back to their room, and they have sex. And we're like, well, at least we got some sex out of this. That's great.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then later Aurora goes to find Blake to find out what he knows about her, because once again, the man keeps secrets, and he admits that Aurora is a wolf because he wouldn't have been able to share his life force with her if she wasn't. He also confirms that he saw glimpses of her dreams, memories, and thoughts when he shared his life force with her. He saw her wolf and that she's the color of moonlight, which I was like, huh, interesting. Blake
Mm-hmm.
also shares that Claire was captured by Alexander's men and that Claire is important to James, which means that
Oh
James will
yeah.
want to get to Aurora quickly so he can trade Aurora for Claire. And I'm like, once again, women are not property. We do not
They're
like
not good.
it's not like trading corn for potatoes. Like what the hell? Do you know what I mean?
I'm so curious. Why corn and potatoes? Where did your
I don't
mind
know.
go
They're
for
the
that
first two
one?
things that I thought of that were food based that you might trade, like back in the olden days, like
Okay.
before Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I
sure.
mean? Where people would like barter and things. I was just like, well, you could grow corn and potatoes. Those were pretty easy. I
Pretty
feel like
easy.
saying like
Yeah.
arugula didn't make a lot of sense,
That's true. That would not make a whole lot of sense.
or like Brussels sprouts. But I feel like corn and potatoes did.
Okay,
So,
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
but he also suggests that he could run some more tests to, like on Aurora to figure out why she doesn't shift. And she once again won't take him up on this offer. And I'm like, I don't know, Blake. Maybe you could be more forthcoming with her and tell her that when you don't want to conduct experiments, you want to kind of see if you can better help her figure that out, and she will be safe and not die.
Yeah.
Maybe if we said those words. Or hey, I
Mhm.
think you might be the heart of the moon. Would you like to find out? Also, that would be helpful.
Yes. Yes.
So, but anyways, we see Callum, Lachlan, Jack, and some others leave. Aurora's left at Lofel with Blake. Interesting. And he pilfers this other spicy book that Elsie gave her. And I'm just like, do you not want her to enjoy like sex or to like better understand it? Because she's still learning all of this, right?
Yeah. And also, I'm like, she is still having sex, whether or not you let her have these books. So just let her have the book.
Right.
Okay.
But it's because there's like the book means something more. But at the time, I'm just like, are you a prude, Blake? Like, what the hell?
Do you disapprove of smut books? Because we're gonna have a problem here.
We're gonna have a huge problem. That would definitely lower you on the list, Blake.
Yeah.
So then Ian grabs Aurora, knocks her out with some type of chemical, and says he's taking her to the Wolf King. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. Why?
I mean, I get it. He wants his brother, you know.
I get it. But
But
I'm like,
still,
we have
like,
to go back
rude.
to James. Because at this point, I
Yeah.
really think James is the enemy. I don't
Yeah.
at the end, but like at this point, I'm like, God damn it, we're going back to James. So she has another nightmare where she's in Knight's prison again. She sees Blake, but he doesn't seem to notice or hear her. Then she's being beaten in the church, which is more of like a memory from her, which is similar to how she was treated as a child. But then there are vines holding her back. And then she starts seeing this figure with eyes that are feral and amber, which is how she's been describing Blake's eyes. That keeps telling her to fight. And then when she wakes up, she's in the same cell that she was previously held in before when James was going to give her to Sebastian in the last book. And I'm like, we're back here again. That wasn't a great place. And she struggles being held captive because she's wondering why like neither Callum nor Blake have come to get her yet. And I think what's interesting at this point is that she still thinks that like Callum's going to come for her, but then she also thinks Blake's going to come for her. And I think it's the first time, like, if she took a step back and admitted it to herself, she would realize that she knew both of them cared that deeply for her.
Yeah.
But, anyways, so she's taken to see James. She attacks him, and I'm like, "You go, girl!" I'm so proud of her in this moment because she's kept that vial of wolfsbane in her in her little pockets, and she douses him with some of the wolfsbane that she carries on her. And I'm like, "Yes!" But then he uses alpha power on her, and then she ends up being tied to a column, which is a pillar, not column, which is the wolf, which would be
Callum.
different.
Callum. Yeah, you're like, calm. Yeah. Which again, you're like, this would be sexy in a different scenario, but not right now.
Correct. Not right now.
Good. Yeah.
But it's
And
interesting though. This is the first time we know that like because James bit her, he can use an alpha power, or at least he thinks he can, right? On her. So, which is also another breadcrumb for like what happens later in the book.
Yeah.
With Philip.
So you're like, So then Callum and Blake do come, and they come into the room, and so much shit goes down here. James legit drops this bomb that Sebastian killed their mother. It's like, oh, but it's not good. I mean, we
No.
already hated Sebastian anyway, so it's like, fine, whatever. But it's like, oh, you killed their mom?
Yeah.
Is that whose fur coat was in again?
That's what like one of our hypotheses is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Aurora like kept that information from Callum when, you know what I mean? Because like she didn't want him to know how brutal it was.
Yeah.
But like James is just like, James just gives zero fucks at this point.
Right, yeah, like James gives zero fucks at this point. And now we find out that Alexander is on his way to get Aurora. And I'm like, great. Thank you so much. This feels a little bit like deja vu. Because it's like, wasn't
Right.
Sebastian on his way last time to come and get me? And now Alexander is? I'm like, James, what the fuck? James also believes that Blake and Aurora are both a threat to the kingdom. And Callum needs to wake up and see the light. He's like, you need to see this. Like, these guys, they're no good. Like, we need to just get rid of them. And then James agrees to let Aurora have an hour's head start if Callum allows one small demonstration to occur. I'm like, this seems like a trap. This
Right?
seems like a trap. And they're like, okay. And then James calls out how Blake tried to turn Callum against him and how Blake looked at Aurora on the night of the feast and how he just couldn't take his eyes off of her. And James mentions finding a very interesting book in Blake's chamber. Interesting. And James is like, all right, here's my condition. I will let Aurora go and have that head start if Blake kisses her. And Aurora's like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm not kissing anyone. Like, what? No. And everybody's like, we don't care what you say. And Blake, he also refuses to kiss Aurora. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, come on. And James is like, why? Why won't you kiss her? It's going to save her life. Why don't you do it? Come on, do it. And he's also insinuating to Callum that there is something that Blake doesn't want them to see. He's like, there's a reason why he doesn't want to kiss her. Like, I'm telling you right now. And Callum's like, come on, Blake, just do it. Just kiss her. Let's find out what's going to happen. Why won't you do it? And Blake warns Callum, like, some things cannot be undone or unseen.
He's not
And
wrong.
And he's not wrong. And Blake taps the table with his fingertips, almost like he's trying to communicate something to Callum on, like, Morse code, you know? Like, what are you saying? And Blake tells Aurora, I'm sorry, and just kisses her. I'm like, well, at least he apologized. Like, he didn't want to do it.
Do you know he does that? He did that before he bit her too.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Every
did
time
apologize.
he always apologizes
Yeah.
without consent. You know what I mean?
Very big on consent. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I do too.
That. And he kisses her, and then Blake's wolf just, like, is blazing in his eyes. And it's, like, obvious what's going on here, that they're mates. And Aurora is just, like, feeling all sorts of things. She's like, was that the best kiss of my life? What the fuck?
Why did I like
what
this?
Is happening? Why is my body betraying me? But I liked it, and now I want more. Like, oh, damn it. Internal conflict.
Internal conflict, right? And it's very confusing. And then Callum looks anguished, and then he, like, pulls back his pain. And then Callum and Blake knock out two of the men. Blake frees Aurora. Callum challenges James for the throne. Alexander's men show up. Callum shouts to Blake to get Aurora out of there. Blake gets shot by 2 bullets because he, like, steps in front of Aurora. They're doused in wolfsbane. Aurora feels the pain. And I'm just like, what the actual fuck? I just thought we were going to give her to Alexander. Like, this is gone.
It's a fucking shit show.
It's a shit show. And the best, and I love it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh. So Alexander shows up and tells Aurora he's looking for her, which at the time I thought he meant like himself. Alexander was looking for her. I think it's a double meaning in terms of the God of Night. And then Blake and Aurora escape. Alexander chases them. Blake has them go into this chapel they doesn't believe Alexander will come into. And I was like, is that because he will burn if he steps foot on like holy soil? No, it's a God of Night chapel, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
Alexander promises to give Aurora glory if she comes with him. And I'm like, what does that mean? And then he refers to Blake as the king's favorite pup and how much he missed the sounds of his screams and asks Blake if he dreams of him. And I was like, hold on a second. This is when I started to wonder if Alexander was a wolf too. Mm-hmm. And then Alexander offers to share Aurora with Blake, which I did not love. And I'm not sure how he meant it, if he meant like sexually, which is what I thought at first. But then I also wonder, because we both know that they're tied to the God of Night, I wondered if he meant like share her as like bringing her to the God of Night.
Like,
do you know what I mean? Like a prize.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he tells Blake to bring her to the Great Keep because he has one of their old friends that he wants Aurora to meet. And I'm like, that sounds horrible. No, thank you. So then Alexander mentions he'll be sending someone to the castle that he's grown very close to in the past few weeks, and they should make him feel welcome. And then Alexander rides away. And I'm just like, excuse...
What?
Wait, what? What?
So much just happened now.
So much just happened in like such a short number of pages. And I think that's one of the things I love about this series so far is like you think she's going to get given to Alexander and then like it's going to be trying to get her back, but instead it's like all hell breaks loose. Alexander doesn't even try and like why didn't he just wait outside the chapel or send someone else to go get them? Right? Like it's just
You know what's
so
funny?
much.
That whole scene, I'm not the chapel scene, but like prior to that, like all the like Callum and James like going at it, it feels like the worst Thanksgiving dinner ever. You know,
Yes.
we're just like, you're just like, okay, everybody, like, let's be peaceful, let's be calm. And then all of a sudden, like, 2 drinks in, people are like throwing shit at each other. And it's
Tables
like, I
are
challenge
flying.
you. Yeah, and just like bad stuff, you know? And you're like, oh, fuck. But honestly,
Okay.
I'd be there eating popcorn, being like, oh my God, what's going to happen
Watching.
next? What's happening?
Can I be up in the balcony watching, like away from the drama, but I want to oversee it and like
Yeah, it's like, I'm not a part of this, but I want to watch and see what finds out.
I want the
like,
details.
happens. You're like, oh my God, spill the tea.
So
What's
when
the drama?
did you think when Callum eventually challenged James that he would kill his brother?
Yes.
I did too. I was very surprised that he didn't. I don't think he's capable of doing it, honestly.
I don't think he is.
But I really
mean,
thought he would.
I thought in that moment he would have.
Yeah.
It would have been very hard for him, but at the end of the day, like, we already know, like, they've had a challenge prior, and he was like, I can't kill you. Like, you're my brother, I can't kill you. But I think in that moment, he was very, very close to doing it.
But it makes
And
me
it would
wonder
have, like, haunted him, you know?
Yeah, but it makes me wonder if the first time when he forfeited, if that was because he didn't want to kill his brother or if that was because he didn't really want to be king. Like, he just
I think
didn't
both.
care, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think a little bit of both.
it made me question like whether or not the things that Callum says he wants and that he will do, he actually will back up and do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
So,
are you talking on both sides of your mouth here?
and if he even realizes that.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, thankfully, here, Blake does carry a medical supply kit with him. So, smart guy, always prepared. And Aurora's like, let me help you with your injuries. You know, he's like, can you please help me out here? I got some, you know, I took a bullet for you, literally, so let's make sure I don't die. Okay, cool. And then we learned that Blake found out Aurora's location from Magnus. You're like, are you helping us, Magnus?
It's very
No, you're not.
confusing, right?
Very confusing. I'm like, but we didn't like you. I don't know.
We still don't like you.
So, like, while they're, you know, kind of like suturing him up and like doing all this shit, Duncan bursts into the chapel with a message from the new king, Callum. And you're like, what? What does this mean? Is James dead? How is he the new king? And they are instructed to both come to the Madal Alai, basically like the wolf castle, to then join Lachlan and his army immediately. And Aurora now questions, why didn't Callum come for me? And Blake's like, well, it's because you're with me. So, you know, like he was trying to avoid me. Like, that must be it. But she's also now struggling with the fact that Callum literally made Blake kiss her.
Yeah.
And it's just another example, honestly, of like her control being taken away from men. Like, by men. Like, what the fuck? That's so rude. If you want a girl to love you, don't take her control away.
Don't make her kiss other men.
Right? Yeah. It's like, don't test her loyalty that way. It's rude.
Right.
But also, like, when we found out they were really mates. So, just saying. So then, during the ride back to the castle, Blake shares that he met Alexander when he was held captive, and that he knew Alexander wouldn't come into the chapel, even though it was one of Knight's chapels, because Alexander isn't a true supporter. So he tried to literally trick the god of Night into giving him power, and now he fears retribution. So he also hopes that they don't find out what Alexander wants with Aurora. Yes,
Same.
I hope so too. Yeah, like, I don't want that. And Blake also wonders if Alexander has set a trap. Probably, yes. Because it was just way too easy for Callum and Lachlan to free Alexander's prisoners. Like, yes, same. It was way too easy. This is definitely a trap. You should
Also,
be
why
careful.
did Callum and Lachlan not figure that out?
Right? Yeah. Like, aren't you guys smarter than this? Or are you just too into, you know, rescuing the damsel in distress or rescuing, like, being the hero?
People, yeah.
Yeah. You're like, haha, this was easy because I'm wonderful and I can do this. And you're like, no, it's a trap, you dummy. Like, come on. So then Blake and Aurora get to the castle, and everyone is literally buzzing about the news that Callum is now the king. And Mrs. McDonald greets them with the news that Fiona's okay.
Oh,
Good,
I
good.
was worried about that.
I know. I was like, oh shit. And there's just like a very like intimate reaction with Blake here, where she just like is very motherly with him, just like wipes dirt off his face and just like caring for him and loving. And we're just like, oh, so sweet. And then she shares that both of them are needed in the infirmary because Callum needs help with a prisoner, Kai. You're like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh
So
boy.
we go to the infirmary and Colin looks jealous and Aurora feels conflicted. This is where I really started to get angry at him. It's pretty much from this point on in the book.
Yeah.
The tension is somewhat eased because like Fiona shows up, she pulls Aurora into a hug, which makes Aurora feel uncomfortable because she's still not like a hugger at this point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just imagine this really small room with like 3 cots and way too many people in it. So Kai looks like shit. He's been branded with Knight's Mark, and it appears to have been recently done, probably against his will, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Callum was unaware that Alexander and his men had showed up at the manor, and I'm like, what? So Blake mentions that Alexander said he would be sending someone, and if Kai has been broken by Alexander, then Kai and all the prisoners will need to be killed, which Callum does not love. Lachlan also does not love that news either. And then suddenly the temperature in the room drops, and I was like, oh shit. Kai's eyes turn black. He says creepy things like, I know you're sent. He's looking for you. And then I was like, that's what Alexander said. And then Kai also says the light and the dark, she always liked a good joke. And we assume this has to be referencing the mate bond between Blake and Aurora since they refer to each other as the light and dark threads.
But she,
the moon goddess.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, interesting, right? Because she's the one that creates the mate bonds.
Mm-hmm.
We're also pretty sure that when Kai says he's looking for you, that he was actually talking about Blake in that situation as well.
Aurora.
Yep. So
I mean,
Kai,
not both, but still.
both of them, yeah. Because he's like looking at Blake when that happens. Kai snaps out of it, and then all of a sudden he's just like back to normal.
So what happened, guys?
What happened? And
I
he
got
shares.
possessed? What do you mean?
What do you mean? I just woke up here. And he shares he was tortured by Alexander and how Alexander gave him to the monster in the Grey Keep. And I was like, I do not want to meet the monster. No, thank you. 0 out of 10. And they refer to it as the Dark Beast, and it's one of Knight's prisoners that has escaped. And I was like, definitely don't want to meet the monster. No, thank you. And then Alexander claimed he's breaking it in for when his special guest arrives. And I was like, if Aurora is the special guest, I'm going to lose it. Which we find out later as she is. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I have imagined the worst case scenario. But Kai also has a message for the Wolf King to prepare for battle or give him Aurora, and Alexander will call off the attack. And I'm just like, why is no one realizing that she's the heart of the moon at this point? Like, everyone.
Right.
And Callum orders no one to speak about the conversation, right? Kind of like threatens them with their lives, which I get. Right?
Like
because
it's fine.
Makes sense. And then Blake gives Kai a sedative so they can interrogate him later. And I'm just like, that was a lot that happened in a very small room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then Callum leaves the room and takes Aurora with him to James's chambers. And he confirms that the rock Sebastian gave James is not the heart of the moon. Duh. And he's like, because I would have felt something. That's what he says. Like, I would have known. It's not the heart of the moon. And it would have awakened his wolf, and he would feel it press against his skin. That's legit when we're just like, okay, Aurora is the heart of the moon, because now both Callum and Blake have mentioned multiple times how they would feel their wolf press against their skin when she's near. And I'm like, that's something that you say that the heart of the moon does. Do you not put 2 and 2 together now? Like, come on.
Right?
Come on. Callum also finally mentions that he is happy to see Aurora. He's like, I'm jealous, and I apologize for not coming sooner. I'm like, okay, we get some honesty. Okay,
yeah.
This is good communication. You're still on our shit list, though. Sorry. And he shares that James is not dead because James forfeited. And it's like, oh.
Huh.
Okay. But Callum did knock him out. So he's like, I'll deal with him later. So, threw him a punch, knocked him out. It's fine. Callum then has sent for Ryan after James because Callum doesn't think that James will hurt Ryan. Possibly true. Possibly not true.
We don't know.
But then
at this point,
like, everything's fair game when it comes to James.
Yeah.
And then Callum drops a small bomb about he has had someone prepare Aurora's old room in the tower for her to stay in because he thought she would just be more comfortable in there. And she gets really confused about this. She's like,
I was really confused.
Yeah. It's like he's trying to bring up like what happened with Blake. She's like, you know what? Like, we gotta talk about this shit. And he's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. He's like, let's just pretend like it never happened, like done. And he only mentions now that he just needs time to get his head around it because there are some things that she just doesn't understand. And honestly, I'm so pissed off like for her in this moment. She's like, I want to talk. Can we please just talk? And he's just like literally throwing up walls. And I'm like, this is not going to end well for you, dude. This is not going to end well.
Well,
Communication is key.
It is. Well, especially since, like, if you think about it from her perspective, she didn't see what everyone else saw, like, with this kind of, like, connection between the two of them. So all she thinks is, you made me kiss another man, and now you are pushing me away. You want me to sleep in my old room when I've slept in your bed for however long?
Yeah. It's like you're literally, like, yeah, like, pushing me away. It's just,
like, somehow I'm in the wrong.
It's like, how is this my fault? You made me do this. Don't punish me.
She was literally tied up when it happened.
Yeah. Like, I can't move. I'm tied to a column here, dude.
Yeah.
Instead of being tied to a Callum.
I don't know if I want to be tied to a Callum right now.
I'm confused. I'm conflicted myself.
I was very conflicted at this point. I was really hating on Callum at this point. I was just like, I'm so done with you. I'm so done.
I was not a fan. I was like, dude. Okay. Fool me once.
I know.
Sorry.
Aurora decides it's perfect time to break into Blake's room to look for the book, and she finds Blake in there. And she's like, oh, I wanted to check on your wounds. And Blake's smarter than that. Like, he's playing chess, you guys. Yeah, and he knows she's looking for the book. And when he touches her, all she can think is, mine, this is mine. And she wants to bite him. And then which I was please do.
Bite him.
Please do. She doesn't. And then he also mentions that wolves guard things that are of high value to them. Another breadcrumb about when he's been guarding her during the full moon. And that's like one thing I did notice a lot with him is he gives her a lot of breadcrumbs to try and help her, to lead her towards things without blatantly just coming out and telling her things that are going to like blow up her world.
Which you can kind of appreciate, but also you're like, could you just be a little bit more forthcoming?
Like a little bit more direct.
See a bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So Aurora tries to distract Blake to get the book, and then she gets glass in her hand. So then Blake has to remove the glass, and he peppers her with questions about like who killed her or kidnapped her. And she's like, don't kill Ian. And he was like, I mean, Ian's going to die. I cannot have other wolves thinking they can stroll into Lofel and take what is his. And she's like, I'm not yours. He's like, yeah, but you're part of my clan. I'm like, that's not what he means, Aurora. No. And then we see Blake start to share about how his mother didn't love him. A storm caused his wolf to come out, which has led his mother to take Blake to a priest who then tried to beat his wolf into submission. That didn't work, so Blake was thrown into this well and told he couldn't come out until he could control his wolf. And that was like a horrible experience for Blake. We see kind of images of the well and throughout the book. And he wished he could die. So those storms make him feel powerless, which is why he struggles with them. And then Blake shares that Aurora's emotions from being in the carriage with Sebastian reminded him of that night. Which is just like, oh. So that's what causes her to share about what really happened in the carriage with Blake. And then she also brings up what happened between the two of them and if they're going to talk about it. And Blake is, do you want to? And she's like, perhaps not. And he's like, let me know when you do. So I feel like he's like, when you're ready to talk to me, I will talk to you. But like, he's not going to drop a bomb on her that she's not prepared to hear.
Which is such a contrast to how she literally just was with Callum, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I want to talk. And he's like, no. And now he's like, do you want to talk? She's like, I don't know if I'm ready. And he's like, okay.
Let me know.
I'm here. And you're like,
I know. But I'm also like confused because I'm like, you're the bad guy. Now you're sweet. I don't understand.
Like,
I like it.
Bryson, is that you?
I know.
Like you.
I was like, when I was at this point, I'm like, I was like, Lauren, do you want us to fall in love with Blake? Because I already have. Like, I don't know if I can go back to Team Callum.
I don't know if I can.
I mean, like, I don't hate him, but I also am just like, I'm just Team Blake.
Yeah. Also, curious. So he talks about like the storm causing his like wolf to come out for the very first time. I immediately thought back to the storm reference with her mother.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, was that the same storm?
Interesting.
Like, could they also be connected in that same kind of way? I don't know. There's probably a lot of storms that happen around there. So, like, maybe not. Maybe that's a
But
big
it's
stretch.
interesting. No, I know, but see, there's
Okay.
nothing that's a coincidence, Megan, right? We've talked about
Okay.
this. Like, there's
Okay.
nothing that's a coincidence.
We shall see. We shall see. But now it's time for a feast. Yay! Huzzah! Or Thanksgiving feast, because, everything goes to shit when feasts happen. But in this case, Callum is king, and, everybody should be happy, but they're not, because it's very chaotic up in there with all these different clans. Not many people are very pleased to see Aurora, because, again, they're just like, this bitch caused all this shit. So, like,
They're
it's
also
not good.
not wrong, right?
They're not wrong. She did.
Like,
Like,
not on
everything.
purpose, but
Yeah, yeah. But the real surprise here is when Aurora's brother, Philip, just shows up out of nowhere. It's like, I'm sorry, what? Who are you? Where did you come from? Where have you been? What's going on? And Blake is just like, what the fuck? We need to ask some questions of this guy. Sedates him and has him taken to the infirmary while Callum decides what the hell we're going to do with this guy. And then they're in the infirmary, and there's a little bit of fun banter kind of between Philip and Aurora. And, like, okay, they are brother and sister.
definitely.
Like, this is very interesting. And Philip likes to poke the bear, of course, or the wolf. But we learn here that Philip also happens to be half wolf. We're like,
Didn't see that coming.
okay.
I didn't see
Didn't see
Philip
that coming.
coming. Didn't see him being half wolf. This was like one of those moments where I thought there would be like fighting at the feast, and then like Philip
Yeah.
strolls in, and I was just like, what?
Like, huh? What? Huh? And here Blake is like, I think I know the wolf that bit you. I think I know. And he assumes that Philip, honestly, he had assumed that Philip might have died with Aurora's father, trying to keep it a secret, until Blake met Aurora and then thought differently. It's like,
Huh.
interesting. Turns out Philip, our dear little Prince Philip, has been in these snowlands. And he's been up there to try and find out more about their mother. Like, oh, very interesting. He also has now come to see the Wolf King because the Queen of the Snowlands wants to unite the two wolf kingdoms in marriage. We're gonna have a wedding.
We're at a wedding. Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't know.
All right. So let's dive into what we learned from Philip. So 30 years ago, their mother was sent to the Southlands by their grandmother to marry their father because he agreed to help the wolves fight the Shadow Wolf, that's new.
That's a new one.
Like
Yep.
a
We have not
Shadow
heard
Wolf
this
name.
guy.
We have not heard of this guy. There's been a recent resurgence in this pack, and they're stronger than before, and they're devoted to the god of the night, and they believe they can free him. And I'm like, great, there's more of them.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely. They're also in the Snowland. Great. So the Night Prince is supposedly looking for the key that's in the Northlands. Soon, Callum's kingdom will face the same threat, so they need to unite with the Snowlands. And I'm like, that does make sense, right? Philip doesn't believe his father will ever agree to a match between Callum and Aurora. So Callum marrying the Queen of the Snowlands is the only sensible option. And I'm like, well, you're probably not wrong. I don't think, Aurora's father is going to agree to them getting married. Also, can't she marry whoever the fuck she wants?
Right.
Right? And then I love how like Philip's just like, while Aurora's present. So Callum, you're just going to marry the Queen of the Snowlands. But Callum's like, I'll only marry for love, not politics. And Philip makes a very, I think, poignant comment that Callum isn't ready to be king then.
Ooh.
And I actually think that's very true.
It's very true.
I think it's very, very true.
Sorry, dude.
I don't think he's ready to make the hard decisions that you have to make when you're a leader that sometimes you don't want to make. And not everyone supports his new claim to the throne. So an alliance with another wolf kingdom would be wise. And then he's like, and you can still basically, he says, carry on with Aurora. And I'm like, Philip's like, basically, you can still fuck my sister. That's how I took it. And I was just like,
she can just be your mistress. It's fine. Whatever.
And I'm like, she's in the room, you guys. Like,
yeah. She's just like, hello,
like I'm here.
What the fuck?
You just, I'm with him and you just told him to marry someone else, but he can still fuck me? What? So,
Good brother. Good brother.
but then we have an interesting comment because Callum says when he marries that he wants his wife to have all of him and vice versa. He won't settle for less. And I was like, that does not bode well for Aurora when he said that.
Mm-mm.
And then the Philip shares that the queen, Ingrid, won't marry him because the last time the Snowlands made an alliance with his kingdom, it didn't end well. And when he said the name Ingrid, do you remember where we've heard that? It's in the prologue about Fenrir, or right? He killed an alpha and married his wife Ingrid
Oh, fuck.
in the Snowlands. And
I did not put that together till literally just now. I am dumb.
I did. I like lost it. I was like, oh, oh my God, shit. So I got questions on this. And then Lachlan also shows, like, pulls down like Philip's collar, like of a shirt or something, and shows this tattoo, which supposedly belongs to like the deadliest warriors in the Snowlands. And then Philip's like, no, I just got drunk one night and got tatted up. And I'm like,
happens to all of us.
no. But I'm also like, Lachlan, you know more. Like, tell me what this is. What do you mean about these deadly warriors? Who are they? What do they do? Tell me the information.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Not good. Oh yeah, it's like that name, the Oich, Atta with Ingrid. It's like night something. Anyway. But oh shit, did not see that one coming.
Yeah.
I should have known. I should have seen that. There's always connections everywhere.
Nothing is a coincidence.
No. Maybe the storm theory is correct.
We don't know, right?
No. So then Callum and Aurora are alone, and he wants to know, like, can we trust your brother? Is this real? And she's like, that's a complicated answer, but basically no. I don't think we can. I don't think we can trust him. And she also starts to suggest that, you know what, I also think Alexander might be the Night Prince. And we're like,
I mean, I could see how she could get there. Maybe,
yeah,
but we don't think so.
I don't think so, no. And then they finally talk about what's going on between them. And I'm like, good God. This therapy session is becoming a long time coming. Like, come on. So Callum admits that he cannot seem to get the thought of her and Blake out of his head. And Aurora shares how much it hurt her that Callum told Blake to kiss her and, like, didn't even help her himself. And Callum, like, tries to excuse his behavior by saying, like, oh, it was the only way I could free you. But, like, he legit won't even look her in the eye when he's talking to her about this. And she calls him out on that. She's like, that's bullshit, and you know it. And Callum admits that he suspected something between them. And then he now starts demanding to know if Aurora has feelings for Blake. And she's like, no, I don't. And, like, keeps denying it until he pushes her to the breaking point where she's like, fine, I felt something when we kissed. Like, are you happy now? She's like, I was also, like, very, very angry with you. And now I have very mixed feelings with Blake. And Aurora now still, like, tries to remind Callum, like, I've chosen you over and over and over again. Like, I didn't want to kiss him. And she, like, really wants Callum to get past this. And Callum's like, well, I want you to be mine. But he's just leaving out a lot of stuff here. He's, like, not being fully forthcoming on everything. And he does agree to, like, protect her brother and, like, have someone stand guard outside her chamber. But she's like, wait, what? Like, I remember back in the days where, like, you used to stand outside my chamber, or, like, be in my chamber, or I was in your chamber. Like, things have clearly shifted between them.
I know, my heart broke for her.
Mm-hmm.
So then she's another nightmare when she's in Knight's prison again with Blake, and it's clear, like, one of Knight's prisoners have escaped, and Blake thinks it happened the night Aurora killed Sebastian when the moon shone brightly. And I was like, because you're the heart of the moon, Aurora. Aurora, we are throwing baguettes at you. Pick them up. Eat them.
Yeah. You're the heart of the moon.
Hello. And then Aurora imagines herself being controlled as a marionette with people dancing around her. And Blake appears asking who controls her. Is it Callum? Is it your brother? Is it me? And he questions if Aurora is perhaps the one binding herself and pulling her own strings. And I love the way that was written. It was so good. And then he comments on how she looked like a queen tonight, and she could be one if she wished by killing her brother. And he's like, there's like a, glass in there. You can just kill
him. You're like, Ooh.
because her father's old and he'll die, and then Aurora can become queen. And I'm like, interesting. And then when Aurora wakes up, she goes to find Blake in his room and she notices a large scar on his stomach. And then that's when she realizes all those experiments were done to Blake and others by the Master of Healing at the palace. And fun fact, her father was in charge of that program.
Mm.
She
So
also
he was
asked,
indeed from her
Whoa.
place.
and also kind of in the king's garden working for her father in a while. I mean, right?
He was an experiment, though. And you're like,
I know. Just like
That's
she was
not
one
good.
of Sebastian's prisoners,
Mhm.
right? And then she asks him what he's going to do about Philip. And he's like, well, I'll only kill him if you want me to. I'm like, thank you. And then
Thanks.
he agrees to let Callum live if he forfeits the challenge. And he hasn't decided if he'll let Aurora go yet or not. And then Aurora's like, deep down, she knows the answer is no. I'm like, no, he's never going to let you go.
Because he loves you.
Because he loves you.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you.
Callum, on the other hand,
Yeah. He's been busy. Callum's like, I'm busy. I can't see you right now. Totally
important Wolf
avoiding
King
her.
things.
God, I got some Wolf King shit to do. Yeah, sure.
I feel
Yeah,
like he's
depending on-
the guy you're dating that's like, I've been real busy. I couldn't respond to your text. And I'm like,
But
really?
you can post on Instagram. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because you did pick up your phone 200 times today.
Yes.
You're
Yes,
too busy
exactly.
to spend 2 seconds and type something back.
Right? Rude. You couldn't even like thumbs up my comment.
Oh God, that's the worst.
It's like, at least acknowledge you saw it, please.
Yeah.
Don't make me wait 8 hours to be like, so. So, you know, he's busy. And Aurora also now notices that 10 pages are missing from one of her books. And she immediately goes to Blake's room because she's like, you must have taken them. And she like is trying to find her missing pages. When she gets to his room, she finds her family tree. She's like, what is this doing in here? What's going on? Why is this just laying out and about? And there's notes there about what Sebastian's been doing. And there's also one of the spicy books that Elsie gave her. She's like, this is mine. I'm going to take this back. And then Jack and Blake are talking outside the door. She's like, I want to listen. And Jack is worried about Blake and questions like, when was the last time you took someone to bed? You know, let your little wolf out to play. When was the last time you did that, dude? Because you got a little pent-up energy going on here. And Blake's like, shut up. And Blake wants Jack to see what he can find out about Alex catching one of the night's prisoners. And Blake doesn't think that Callum will keep him around for much longer. So he's like, you need to go figure this shit out right now because we got to find some answers. And then Blake comes into his room and just like lies down, you know, exhausted. And Aurora sees a wad of parchment beneath his pillow. And she's like, if I could just quickly get in there and grab it. So she tries, but like, that's totally gonna fail. And Blake sees her and like takes the parchment like back from her. And he's just like, you know, there's a little bit of rolling around going on. And we're just like, what you gonna do? Where's this gonna lead? And you know, Aurora tries to then like use their own bond to get power over Blake. And she ends up seeing part of that parchment before he throws it in the fire. Because he's just like, fuck you, you're never gonna see this. And it's like, boom. She's like, she sees a little bit. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then Aurora bites his arm. And I'm like, yay.
Okay.
You finally bit him. You finally did it. And tells him, and he tells her, like, do not break the skin or you're going to mark me. Like, don't do it. And she's just like, uh-oh. What? Oh, shit.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. And he sends, like, his emotions, like, literally, like, through the bond to her. And she ends up just, like, crashing. And, like, on the bed, she's just like, oh my God. Like, what is... Exhausted and all this, like, crazy shit. And Blake's on top of her.
But then she gets another nightmare where Blake is like strapped to a gurney and then Aurora's chained in the manor house and then Aurora sees her mother talking to like a little Aurora, but she can't hear what her mother is saying, but we know that's going to be an important scene. And then when she wakes up, she's furious with Blake and demands he breaks the bond, but he refuses. And then she promises, I love this, because this is like, I feel like something I would do. I'm going to consume all of your thoughts and drive you fucking crazy then. And he's like, you already do. And I'm like, I mean,
So good.
so good. And then he's like, perhaps I should tell you the truth. And I'm like, perhaps.
You think?
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Okay. Then we find out Blake did not know that James was going to bite Aurora. He actually thought James wouldn't hurt Aurora, and that's why he tried to arrange the marriage between the two of them. So he actually was trying to be helpful, which is odd. He can't break the bond because he didn't create it. The name of their bond, and I am going Anna Krydik? I don't know. And I'm so bad at this stuff. Or that's at least one name for it.
Yeah.
Blake claims Aurora already knows the other name, but she disagrees. And then Blake believes that deep down, Aurora's always known, just like Callum and Blake have always known. And he tells her to figure it out herself. I think there has to be something where, like, you can't tell someone that, that they're your mate. Like, they have to, like, feel it and accept it or something. There has to be something to that. And then Lachlan comes into the room to take Blake prisoner for plotting against the throne. Blake goes with them willingly, which I did not see coming. I thought he would fight, and tells Lachlan to give him a message about how Callum hasn't even, or to give Callum a message that Callum hasn't even started to see his hand yet. And I'm like, this does not sound great for Callum. And then Blake tells Aurora to come see him once she's figured it out. He'll wait for her. And I 1,000% team Blake. 1,000% team Blake at this point.
So I looked it up again because we butchered one part of the pronunciation. It's Anam Kriya, which Anam means soul, and Kriya means heart.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm like, you're literally like heart souls. My heart's soul, basically, or soul of my heart. You're like mates.
I love that. Mates.
Your heart,
They're
your
mates.
Heart mates. Your soulmates. Heart of my soul. Soul of my heart. So cute. So then Callum finds Aurora in Blake's room and just like takes off. He's just like, what the fuck? Again, you two? Like, kind of feel
the
a little
bed's
bit bad for
messy
him.
too. Like,
yeah, it's
not a great
It's not
look.
a good look. Yeah, it's like, oh, and she's like, let me explain. And is like chasing after him, like trying to tell him, like, I just try to get information out of Blake. It's not what it looks like. And he's like, I can't even talk to you right now. Like, you smell like him. Like, you need to go bathe. Like, I'm gonna deal with you later. Like, this is too much. And she's like, what does Anam, like, Clea mean? Like, what does this mean? And he's like, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. And then, like, she keeps following, and she's like, no. And he, like, literally turns around, like, uses his alpha voice and says, do not follow me. And I'm like, it's kind of like when I tell my kids, where I'm just like, mommy means business. And I'm like, no. And it's like, oh. So, but also, I'm like, oh, that's like, he's mad. He is mad. He brought out big boy voice, daddy voice.
Well, it also made me question how much he really loved her.
Yeah.
Or if he really did.
Is she just another damsel in distress? I would say another, like, notch on his belt, which is also true. But, like, you know, another damsel on his belt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh.
So then Aurora finally reads one of these spicy books. I'm like, about damn time, girl. Like,
yeah.
Just escape your reality for a little bit. Just go read a good book, okay?
That's
like,
what we do.
Curl up. Yeah. So just curl next to a fire. Like, it's all good. And then she realizes that Mrs. McDonald was the one who used to be the cook at Lowfell who wrote them. You're like, Mrs. McDonald, are you Miss Willa?
I loved it. I was like, I did not suspect that, and I loved it.
Oh, Mrs. McDonald got a dirty mouth and mind. I love it. And then we also kind of learn the truth about it. And we do learn that the Anukreya is a bond that is rare to exist and even rarer for it to be accepted. Very interesting. There is consent. There is consent here. That's nice. And the only person that Mrs. McDonald knows to have experienced it was James with Claire. But Claire refused him. So the bond never solidified. Which I'm like, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And also, this bond cannot be broken except by the moon goddess. So it's literally like an eternal mating bond that is thought to surpass even death, but literally cannot be broken except by the moon goddess. And so again, I'm like, I feel slightly bad for Callum, where it's like, he liked Claire, he tried to bed Claire.
I don't think he did, though. I think he was just doing it to like save her because she didn't want to marry James. And he was like, I'll take one for the team. You can marry me.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't
The
think he actually
damsel.
liked her. I think he just wanted to
That's
rescue
true.
her. I'm like,
Yeah.
do you like anyone? Like,
Do you actually like women, or do you just want to get fucked and just like,
or do you just have like kind of that hero complex, right?
yeah?
And
He
then
totally
once
has
they
hero
no longer,
complex.
because the other thing that's interesting about it is once she starts to kind of stand up for herself and be able to take care of herself, she seems less attractive to him.
Yes, like he puts her in her own room now. Back.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, I don't even need to be the one to stand outside your door anymore. So,
right. I
yeah.
know. And yeah, I know the whole Blake thing's happening too, but it's also, I think there's a lot of truth to him liking to rescue damsels in distress.
Hmm.
Okay. So Aurora's like done with his shit. So she bursts into
Yeah.
his chamber. He's in the bathtub. She's furious at him. She's like throwing washcloths at him. Like
She's pissed.
she's pissed. Rightfully
Yeah.
so, because he's hid the truth
Yeah.
from her. And then he's like somehow dared to be angry at her when he's known all of this and she hasn't. So we
Hmm.
learned that Callum suspected it on the night that James bit her, and it was confirmed for him when he kissed her and then when he saw the book in Blake's room. According to Callum, there is no fixing it and he won't share. He wants all of her and he will take no less. And I'm like, so you don't want her then? Like
Also,
you
like, that's
are
not fair. She has no control over this
she's
thing.
right, like she did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So Callum also doesn't think that Aurora knows what she wants. And I can see that.
True. True.
Callum talks about how he wants her and wishes that she would come to his room at night and that he would left the door unlocked, hoping she would come, but also hoping she wouldn't come. And I'm like, you mean the nights where you had her staying in her old room while you ignored her? Are you fucking kidding me right now, Callum? I was just like,
Yeah.
it's not just about sex with her. Like,
Yeah.
you were the first.
cuddle. She wants
She
to
went.
talk.
She wants to be with you. Like, she wants to be loved and not treated like a piece of property. And yet you put her in a different room, started treating her differently, and then you're surprised she doesn't want to come fuck you at night? What?
The fuck.
I'm so good. Like, I was very angry at him.
Mm-hmm.
So but then we get like another spicy scene because she's like, I do know what I want. I want you. They have sex, and it felt like goodbye sex very much, right? Because Callum can't get over the bond between Blake and Aurora. Aurora says she's going to find the heart of the moon to break the bond. I laughed out loud because I'm like, that's hilarious.
Honey, it's literally you.
It's you.
You are.
It's literally you.
Yeah.
But Callum doesn't believe it's possible.
No.
So.
Yeah. It's bad news bears for them. So
yeah.
It's goodbye sex. Breakup sex. But it's probably still like good.
I mean, I think it was still good.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
but it felt very like breakup sex. Because he even mentions like if other wolves knew that I went to bed with like another wolf's mate, and I was just like, are you gonna tell them? Like, how would I mean, I guess they could smell him on her.
That's true. That's true. That would be good.
But who also knows that they're mates? Like, who knows that Blake?
It must be obvious, though. You know.
Yeah, I guess.
Nobody else is looking. Yeah. Because I mean, Elsie knew, but also like she was sisters. So.
Yeah.
So. But then the next morning, Callum makes Philip fight a bunch of different wolves, and he beats all of them. And I'm like, okay, well, interesting. How you're like basically kind of like putting him like in like a pit to fight other wolves, you know? Like,
I know.
This is kind of how the first book started. Interesting. So Callum wants Philip to go back to his queen in the Snowland with Aurora and then bring Ingrid back to Callum so that he can ask her to fight with them.
Or marry her. Who knows?
Or marry.
That's just. I'm just.
He's like, maybe she'll be a damsel in distress and I can marry her instead. It's like, dude, come on. So then Callum plans to release Blake once Aurora is out of the kingdom because he knows like Blake's just going to go after her. He's like, whatever. You two can just go live your fucking lives. And Callum believes there is some reason that the moon goddess created this bond between Blake and Aurora. He just doesn't know what it is yet. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but whatever. And then he pretty much just like says their goodbyes right then and there. And, Aurora is promising she'll come back for him. And Callum does promise to wait for her. But I'm like, are you? Are you?
That was like a really weird comment because he also said previously like he didn't think he wouldn't share her. So I'm just like, I don't.
Like, you're very confusing. I don't understand you.
Maybe you don't know what you want, Callum.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So then Philip and Aurora start on their journey, and he shares how he was very jealous of Aurora growing up.
I was so
Like,
confused by that. I was like, what? She was
how?
literally beaten.
Beaten, yes. And like traded around like a piece of property. Like, come on. Like, you're a man. You do not have it the same way. Do not have the same
Woe
way.
is Philip.
Whoa. And like, and you're probably a white dude too. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So, like, you have no struggles. Let's be real. So, Philip also shares about seeing Blake in the dungeons and being down there on a full moon when Jack bites him. And it's like, okay, that would that make Blake the alpha to Philip?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And apparently, Blake tried to use the Anna on Philip in the infirmary, and Philip made Blake think that it worked, but it didn't. So there's another little breadcrumb right there. I'm like, huh, why is this thing not working for you guys? Interesting. So then Philip also knows that Blake is Aurora's mate. Again, he's like, it's painfully obvious. It's obvious. You're in the room together, and it's just like crazy. Like, Blake cannot take his eyes off of you. Everybody knows. So I get it.
Yeah. So then Aurora has another dream, or believes she's in Blake's dream, where and I like started to lose it because it made me think of dream walking.
Yeah.
Where she's naked on her knees, he's behind her, finger fucking her, then he fucks her, and I was just like, oh!
Yeah.
I mean, we'll still take it. It's dream sex, but we'll take
I'll
it.
take it.
But the two of them are also watching this happen. So, like, they're there, but then they're also, like, watching them do it. It's kind of interesting. And Blake
it's kind of like, is there like a mirror, you know? Where it's like you're having sex and watch yourself having sex at the same time.
Well,
But it's
I
not.
loved
It's
it.
like your astral projected out and like watching yourself
Exactly.
having sex.
And Blake asks.
Voyeurism on yourself.
It's voyeurism on yourself. Oh my God. I love that.
Or it's like you made a sex tape and now you're watching your own sex tape together.
Oh, can you imagine Aurora, how much she would clutch her pearls over that? Oh. She kind of does a little bit.
It. Yeah.
Right? And he asks if he can just have her this like one time, no one has to know. Oh. And, you know, I was like, yes, please say yes. But then Aurora believes she sees Blake in the forest where she's like sleeping, but then he's also in the cell and he wants to know why she didn't come tell him goodbye because he knows that she's left. And they go back and forth a little bit. It's really interesting because they're like having a conversation like in the present, like they're dream walking. And Blake's worried about Aurora because he knows Alexander is going to come for her. And that's also when we learn officially that Alexander is a wolf and wants Aurora's soul to gain Knight's favor. And I was like, that sounds horrible.
Which is interesting. Isn't Alexander Sebastian's brother?
Yes.
So isn't Sebastian a wolf?
We don't know.
But you
maybe
assume, unless they had different like parents in some way.
Or maybe he was never bitten if he was half wolf.
Yeah,
right? Because they would have to be bitten for it to be activated.
That's true. That's true.
Then fucking Alexander shows up. He turns out Alexander is Philip's alpha and can control him. And I didn't see that coming.
Oh. Yep. Nope.
He makes Philip put silver cuffs on Aurora. They're taken to the Great Keep. At one point, Philip has to knock Aurora out. And I'm just like, you're making her brother do all this too? Like, ugh.
Like, that's just rude.
Okay. Then she wakes up. She's in a cell. James is in the cell next door. Ryan's there. Claire's there. And I'm like, gang's all here.
Hey, everybody. We're all in the cell together. Great.
Sounds horrible.
Oh, shit. What are we going to do?
Then James drops a little bomb that he's the dominant wolf and he would win any challenge against Callum. But he didn't want to kill his brother and that's why he forfeited. And I started to wonder what the truth is because I don't think Callum would kill James. No. And then I also started to question if James actually is a good guy and has been doing
kind of. I've always wondered. No, I've always thought no. I'm like, I don't think James is a good dude.
Not for like Aurora, but I mean, like, is he doing what's best for the Wolf Kingdom as a leader?
You know, I will say this: he is making the tough decisions.
Yeah,
which was not something that Callum was willing to do when presented with the opportunity. So,
right. Like, is he the better Wolf King?
Maybe.
So, but before James and the other wolves are taken away, James asks Aurora if he knows she's here. And she's like, call him. He goes, not call him. And then I was like, oh, damn. And she answers yes. And then James promises to try and buy her some time. because James knows, right, that they're mates. And just like James tried to get Claire, even though Claire has not accepted their mate bond, he knows that Blake will come for her.
Yeah. You're like, what? Try and buy you some time. It's like, are you okay? Are you decent now? Even bad guys can occasionally have some good moments.
Yeah.
Like, he's not all the way bad. He's just mostly bad. But again, So then Aurora is taken to an amphitheater where Alexander sits on a throne. Good God.
I know, right?
Yeah. And Philip is in chains beside him. And I'm kind of like, is Philip your pet?
I thought of, do you remember when Colas was holding court and had Sarah on a pillow next to him? We were called our pillow pet princess. That's what I thought. I was like, this is a pillow pet prince.
Yes. Pillow pet prince Philip. Say that 10 times fast. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. So now Aurora is chained up. Great. And Alexander plans to whip her until she breaks. Because, that's going to work out just great. So that she'll be free. Her wolf will be free finally. And that he's like, some things need to be broken to be rebuilt. Oof.
That sounds horrible. Yeah.
Not good. Also give me major, Aelin, aka Selena vibes.
Yes.
So I'm
I agree.
like, oh, let's not do that, please. And Aurora mentions that she's dreamt of the god of night and finds herself in his prison most nights. And she offers to give a message to him from Alexander. James then tells Aurora that the wolf part of her will protect her from the worst of it and that she is stronger than she looks. And then a man comes in and starts whipping Aurora. And is instructed to do so again and again until she breaks. And Aurora now is in just so much pain that she just legitimately retreats within herself, turning herself into stone. Which we saw her have that dream earlier.
Yep.
Where she was literally turning herself into stone. And that causes Alexander to lose his shit because she's not showing him the power that he believes that she has. He's like, she's not breaking. She is not breaking. Harder, do more, harder, more. And then Blake shows up and is like, get your hands off my mate.
I kicked my feet. I love it. Get your hands off my wife. Get your hands off my feet. I was like, ah! I've been waiting for this moment. I thought we'd have to wait to book 3.
I know. I'm just like, finally, thank you. God. And
this is the first time he says it, too.
Yes. And this causes something just literally erupt within Aurora. She's just like, inside of her, and her soul feels like a flame because he finally came for her, and she's in a way, I think, acknowledging him back, without saying it. And Jack and Aaron are with Blake. Shit gets done. Blake tosses James a key to the shackles and says no one leaves there alive that James doesn't trust, except Blake, obviously. And fighting ensues. And Alexander opens the cage to Knight's prisoner. That's not good.
No.
That is not good. And Blake tells Aurora she is the only one who can save them because her power is so strong. And there's a reason why she didn't shift on the full moon. Why the moon goddess shone for her in the battle and why the Anna doesn't work on her. It's not her wolf that she is suppressing. And that is when Aurora realizes that she is the heart of the moon. And she unleashes her power.
I was just like,
finally.
Yes!
Love it.
I just love a strong female main character when she comes into her power and accepts who she really is. And this is just such a good moment. And so then she remembers what her mother said to her and that kind of memory we saw earlier about how the power is in their blood and that Aurora would either be powerful enough to release the god of night or defeat him. And I was like, Option two. So she does defeat Knight's prisoner. James drops to his knees along with the other wolves, almost like they're bowing to her. Alexander slits Blake's throat. This is where there might have been some tears for a minute. Aaron decapitates Alexander, which is interesting because in the beginning, Blake tells him not to kill Alexander. And we learn the reason for that why later, but Aaron ends up having to do it. Blake is dying. He wants Aurora to break the bond because she's always had the power within herself to do it. She refuses. She pushes Blake to fight. He ends up surviving. And then
It's
James
good.
asks the question why Blake was chosen to be the mate to the heart of the moon. And Blake says he doesn't know, but Aurora knows that isn't the truth.
Mm.
And I was like, interesting. So then when Aurora wakes up, Philip is waiting for her. Blake is dealing with the other prisoners. He hasn't left her side. Blake has not left her side for like 24 hours. He's been super protective of her. He's also pretty much threatened the lives of anyone if they share her secret. And I'm just like, oh, could I love you more? I don't think so. Philip is going back to the Snowlands and wants Aurora to come with him, but she won't. He believes that another alpha thinner, right?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
yeah, is still alive, which means that Ingrid will need Philip because she'll be in danger. And then that's also when we get confirmation that Philip does love Ingrid. And I was like, okay.
The same one.
The same one that was married to the alpha that we think is also,
yeah,
his soul belongs to the night. Not great for Ingrid. Or probably Philip.
Yeah. So then James and Claire literally burned down the amphitheater at Blake's request. And James believes that Aurora should be with the wolves, with his brother.
Didn't see that coming.
Callum, I was like, are you sure about that one? Are you sure? Even though Callum's honor won't let him marry another wolf's mate, but a marriage allegiance would be helpful. And Aurora's like, I'm not going to do it unless Callum comes to me as his equal, like the queen. So that means time for Daddy Dearest to die. But also, like, he wasn't a good dad, so
no,
not really that sad about it.
I feel like this plan is like flawed though, because think about it: if her dad dies, there's still Philip.
That's true.
Like, so how does she become queen?
Yeah, that's not good. I don't know. So Blake and Aurora finally talk about their bond. I'm like, good God, here we go. Including like when Blake figured it out. And he's like, he didn't officially know it until he had Aurora in the dungeons at the manor house. Like, that's when he knew he could share his life force with her when she was dying, because he's like, I watched Aaron and his mate do it so many times before. He's like, I thought maybe. He's like, but he's also like, I didn't plan for this to happen. And Blake tells Aurora that she can actually break the bond now if she wants to, but she's like, she says she feels it stronger. She feels it different now. So I'm like,
and you also don't want your girl.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think he wants to do it. Yeah. So we get another nightmare then later where Aurora sees Blake telling a man sitting on the throne that he can build an army for him. What? What? What are you talking about? And Blake is told to take the kingdom of the wolves and bring the heart of the moon to him.
I got scared here.
What?
I was like, what? What are we doing? I was like, what are we doing to Blake? So she wakes up. Blake then wakes up, and he is like trying to get her to ask him about the dream, but she's like, I don't remember it. It was fine. And then Blake's like, we need to be honest. So here's what we learn. Blake has been working for the Night because Blake is the Night Prince. We were right. I'm so excited. Blake is also one of Night's prisoners. Did not expect that.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
The prison that Blake has pulled Aurora into his dreams was his home for a time. All of Night's prisoners are branded with his mark, and the acolytes copy it. Blake's soul belongs to the god of the night. So do the souls of the other people who were trapped in the cell beneath the palace with him. So we know who those people are. Blake never escaped the dungeon under the palace. He died. And I was like, I have questions.
And I'm like,
what?
Are you a ghost?
But he's not a ghost.
So not a ghost. I'm like, what do you mean you died? What? Like, just metaphysically? Like, metaphorically?
There's more to this, right? Yeah. Blake made a bargain with Night to get enough power to escape from the Master of Healing and set the others free in exchange for Blake's soul. Night gave him freedom in the form of death. It feels like one of those things we need to read the fine print. And took Blake's soul for himself. Blake then made another promise to get out and deal, and promised to get Night what he wanted. That happened the night Elsie prayed to him because her father was going to kill her. And Night agreed to let Blake go. So Night used the moon goddess to do it because the prison walls are thinner on the full moon. Not thin enough for Night or any of the ancient prisoners to escape, but thin enough for Blake to escape.
Uh,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. You're like, wait,
Wait, what?
huh? Huh?
I know.
That's a lot to take in.
I
And
know.
even still, where I'm just like, huh? So it gets better. Blake was taken to the moon goddess's cell, and she told him, "My heart is your salvation." Blake didn't know that. Like, he's like, I don't know what that means when he made that promise to the knight that the heart of the moon was anything more than a rock. He's like, what do you mean? It's just a rock. What are you talking about? Blake then realized that Aurora could be the heart of the moon when she didn't shift, and knew for certain when Alexander finally took her. You're like, well, fuck. So
Right.
now Rainer's like, okay, well, now Alexander is dead, which means he's told Knight where Aurora is. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Not
So,
good.
because Blake also saw that in his dreams. He's like, well, Knight knows where you are now. So Blake promises to give Aurora the army, the kingdom, and the crown, like everything that she wants, and that the vengeance she deserves. And there is no one who knows Knight better than Blake in the kingdom. And if Aurora wants to keep everyone safe, then they need to leave now. Like, get out. Go. And Aurora asks Blake, like, what does he want in exchange for the help? Like, what do you want? And he's like, you know what I want. And she's like, she's thinking back to her dream, like, what do you mean? What do you want? But then acts like he just means freedom. She's like, oh, okay, you just want your freedom. Like, it's fine. You don't want me.
And he doesn't correct her.
Freedom. I know. And I'm like, come on.
Aurora.
And right. And then Aurora just goes with him.
And I'm like, give me the next book. Tell me.
I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, where are you? What's happening? So much.
So much going on. Okay, before we get to theories, hot and steamy, this felt like a 3.
Yeah, I'd say 3.
Yeah, okay. So we start with chapter 10, where Callum and Aurora have sex.
My only thing with this is, like, there is a lot of finger fucking, which is great. I don't mind it. But not enough, like, actual fucking. You know?
Yeah, we could always use more.
Could always use more.
So, in chapter 10, when they have sex, he says, "Come for me, princess." And I was like, that's a really hot line. I did like that.
Dumb.
I really like that.
Write that one down for later. Thank you so much.
Right? Send that to my husband.
I'll text it to him now.
But then it's interesting because he does this whole thing, like, you're mine, he says, like, when they're having sex. And I thought that's a really interesting comment, but it made me wonder, thinking back to, like, this chapter and where he's at. You think it's like a sweet comment. I think he's saying it. He's trying to convince himself that she's his, even though he's already worried that she's Blake's mate.
Yeah.
So
that's it. But come for me, princess.
I mean, like, literally, that was so good.
And he growls it.
I love, right?
Love that. So then we get chapter 15, where it just mentions pretty much Callum and Aurora making love, but there's no details. And I'm like, come on, that's rude. And then chapter 20, Callum does go down on Aurora. We're like, okay, good. And she says, I tilt my head back as he feasts on me, as if I'm his favorite meal. He sucks and strokes and laps as if he's a rabid beast and provokes sounds from me that I've never made before. I clamp my thighs around his head and ride his face, rocking my hips until I'm nothing but liquid heat and the wind that howls through the mountains. Somewhere within the wild valleys and hurtling brooks that pass beneath me, I see his point. I would do anything he asked of me right now. If belonging to him means more of this, then I could give him everything I am. Oh, same.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
that was so good.
Yes.
Then we get to chapter 24. It's the night of the full moon, and Calm's created, like, that romantic little campfire and everything, and he's finger fucking her to explain, like, this is what it is to be a wolf. Like, he slides his finger down my slickness, gently circles my entrance, and his embarrassing moan scrapes against my throat. To have something building inside you, to feel wild, feral animal, to always be on the edge of something, never able to release. And then she whispers, please, until the night of the full moon, spread your legs. And I was like, oh my God. Like, he's really good at the dirty talk.
He is.
He really
is
is.
King of the dirty talk.
I like it.
I'll take it. I like it a lot. I approve. And then chapter 26, Callum and Aurora do finally have sex. And Callum makes good on his promise. We spend the morning in bed with him drawing moans from my lips until I'm liquid in his arms. And then he starts all over again. And he remains careful with me, though, gentle. His promise to unleash himself upon me after the full moon is nullified. I didn't shift.
I felt bad for her.
You know. But at least she gets to have sex.
That's true. Chapter 51, they have sex again. And like he goes like, he fills me completely. Both of our pulses thunder in my ears. His scent overwhelms me. He takes my face in his hands, your eyes, he whispers, and I know they must have changed. And then softly he kisses me. This is when like they're having goodbye sex. Like he thrusts his hips deep, languid movements as though he's savoring every moment. And it's just, it's sad.
Yeah.
Like it's good, but it's sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then chapter 54, Aurora has a sex dream about Blake. Yummy. She's sorry. A female groan, my groan, fills the air and I can't breathe. The creaking gets louder, faster, drawing Blake's attention. The bond trembles and I feel the world that builds like a growl. Hunt. I glance over my shoulder and my breathing almost stops. He has me face down on the mattress, one hand on the nape of my neck to hold me down, and the other grips my hip as he thrusts into me. And the look on his face, goddess, the look on his face.
That's like one of my favorite scenes. Like in terms of spice in the book.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, because I don't think Blake is gentle with her. Whereas Callum, I think, treats her like she's like a fragile, like glass ornament.
Yeah. Question. Do we think that she can get pregnant with dream sex?
I don't know.
Is that
potentially?
Strong? I don't know. I feel like crazier things have happened.
Yes, they have. Okay. Time to theorize. Quick rundown of where we are from the theories in the first book. When did Blake know Aurora was a wolf? We were right about this. He knew early on that Aurora was a wolf.
Yeah.
What is the high cost for Callum giving Aurora his collar? We don't learn anything else in this book about it. It's possible that it still was just related to like dominance and Callum not wanting to be seen like his father. But I think there still could be more to that kind of story. I feel like it's going to come up in book 3.
Yeah, and honestly, now knowing that he also kind of like sort of made the proposal to Claire, I'm like, how many other people have you given this collar to? Like,
right?
honestly, now the collar feels dirty. Like, it doesn't feel as special anymore. You know?
Or
like,
is the collar what you give to your mate?
Good point. But still, like, I feel like Blake giving the collar was like a legit, like, one time only. I just don't trust that Callum has not given that collar to somebody else before.
Well, he's not given to Isla.
Which we haven't seen that bitch, so it's like, goodbye.
Well, she does show up in the infirmary with,
barely saw her.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe she learned her lesson, hopefully. She's lactose intolerant, and we're like, we got you. We're going to get you.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, no milk, bye. Which I'm like, same girl. Same. The scariest thing to me, you show up at my door on Halloween and you're dressed as cheese, I am terrified. Oh, too good. But okay, now, are mates in this world, sorry. Are mates in this world chosen or fated? Can you get more than one mate? I mean, okay, we are right again about mates being fated in this world and that the mating bond is very rare and it's rarely accepted. Again, consent. But the only mate bond that anyone else seems to know about really is like James and Claire. We don't technically have an answer about like if a mate bond can exist between more than 2 people or more than 2 wolves, but we're kind of leaning towards this being a no. It's kind of like a one and done thing. It's like you either accept it or you don't. You don't really get a second chance. So.
Yep. So what caused the wolves to shift during battle? It felt so good to be right on this one. We theorized that Sebastian didn't have the Heart of the Moon and that perhaps the Heart of the Moon was a person, Aurora, and she was the reason why the wolves could shift in the battle against Sebastian and his men.
Now, why did James bite Aurora? So originally we thought that Blake told James to bite Aurora, but that wasn't the case. Instead, James bit Aurora because he knew there was something more to her based on how Blake reacted in her presence, making James think that Aurora could have been a wolf, and he wanted to test that theory.
If she wasn't, that was still a real asshole thing to do.
Yeah, that would have been for real.
So what do all these references to Nightfall coming mean? We were correct that the concerns around Nightfall have something to do with the Elder Wolf story, and Blake fully understands that because he's the Night Prince, like we theorized.
Knew it. So knew it. Does that mean she could be the Night Queen? Ooh. The Queen of the Night?
Or that's what I was just thinking. I love that.
I love it. Now, can Aurora see into Blake's past due to their bond? So, yeah, we were right on that one. She can definitely see into his past memories, like via all their dreams. And he also seems to be able to do the same with hers. Very interesting.
So who can Aurora trust? We originally thought Aurora should only trust Callum at the end of the Wolf King. And Callum does seem to have her best interests at heart at the first part of this book. However, things have changed. Like, once he started realizing the bond between Blake and Aurora, it made us question if Callum would do what's best for Aurora, if push came to shove. At the end of the book, it feels like Blake is the only one who would do anything for Aurora.
Yeah, for real.
Like, Callum didn't even show up to the amphitheater.
Motherfucker.
Like, did you think about that? Like, he didn't even show up.
Yeah. He probably knew where she was. Fucker. But he's like, whatever, Blake's gonna go get her. I don't need to go. And just like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Really? Come on. So, will this turn into a white shoes? No. At least not likely. Very, very unlikely. Like, Callum has made it very clear he will not share. He doesn't share food. He doesn't share women. He's like Joey from Friends. Joey doesn't share food.
Rude.
Callum doesn't share women. Bummer. So, don't get the sense that he's going to be up for a situation that involves all three of them together. No joining here. Big bummer. But Blake does seem a little bit more open to the idea. Just considering he just merely mentioned the idea of both of them fucking Aurora at one point at the same time. And I'm like, oh, so that's not a big no-no for you. You're kind of like,
Maybe.
let me throw this out there, see what happens. But he's also at the same time like very, very protective of her and like guards her during the full moon and doesn't let Callum get anywhere close to her. So I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's a
but
no.
you know what? What if it ends up being another girl?
I don't think Aurora would do that.
Yeah, no, I don't think she would do it either. But
I don't think we're headed to a wide shoes territory.
no.
Okay, so new theories. Why did Claire not accept the mate bond with James? So we know it's rare. It's said to exist even in death, but we don't know why a wolf would choose not to accept the bond. Like, isn't that weird? It keeps being brought up. So in the situation specifically of Claire and James, we know Claire didn't want to get married to James because her father was forcing her to do it. But she had feelings for James because they were still courting in secret. So it doesn't make like a ton of sense why she wouldn't want to accept the mate bond with him unless it somehow can be used against both of them in the future. Like, I think this is really important because I think there's accepting it. I think it puts some sort of like a risk to you that we haven't been told about yet. So theorizing right now that Claire didn't accept it with James is a way to protect the two of them. Because if the bond isn't accepted, they can't feel each other's pain and they can't be used against one another. Like, I think this is going to come to light in the third book because Blake and Aurora have an accepted bond. It's somehow going to put them more at risk.
But does accepting the bond mean that you accept each other's life force, though? Because
No, I think that's different.
Yeah, so I think that because Blake and Aurora had each other's like life force, that's why they could feel each other's pain. I don't know if that necessarily had anything to do necessarily with the heartmate situation.
I don't know. But then why would Claire not accept it?
That could be it. Like, it could just be like a vulnerability thing, you know?
Yeah, but there's some reason, right? Like,
yeah.
And I feel like that's going to come out.
Does Claire still love James?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, can something bad happen to Aurora when she is in Blake's dreams? Or can something good happen?
But we do think that could be the case with the bad stuff if Aurora is now seen by the god of night when she's in Blake's dreams. Like, that could be bad.
Yeah.
So there was one specific dream where she felt like she had to run because if she was caught, then bad things would happen. So I do think that somehow the god of night can like interfere in a dream in a bad way.
That's not
But
great.
now I'm like, but could also on the flip side good things happen? I mean, we can have dream sex, so that's
Right.
great. But
Or we could have real sex.
real sex is preferred.
Is preferred. Who knows about Blake being the Night Prince? Okay. I think there's a few different ways. So it's possible that Aaron and Jack know because they were the closest people to him. They were held captive with him. In the prologue, Jack and Blake discuss the rumors about the Night Prince creating an army in the Northlands and discuss Fenra, who supposedly is in the Snowlands, and Alex as potential reasons for the rumor. And you think that they're thinking about them as the potential Night Princes, but they could be the ones starting the rumor. So it's possible that Jack knows that Blake is the Night Prince. Or no one knows it. And they ever, right? So, like, that's the question. Does anyone else know that Blake is the Night Prince?
Yeah.
Or do they just know he was one of Night's prisoners and his soul's been given to them?
It's so crazy, like your soul is being given away. Can you get it back?
I don't know. I think potentially because when the moon goddess says, right, like my heart is your salvation, I think Aurora is his, like the salvation for his soul.
Yep.
So we'll see how that comes to life.
Yeah. Soul of my heart.
Right?
Actually. So now what role does Aurora's father play? Okay, so we haven't seen him on the page for a while, and we don't see him a whole lot, but we know he's a horrible father, horrible person. He probably would have easily sacrificed her to the gods if given the chance, honestly. Like, he's just, like, not a great dude. So we anticipate he might also have a connection to the god of the night, and may even know that Aurora would be the heart of the moon. And so it's like, what the fuck? And his treatment of his wife and Aurora, with all of that wolfsbane and the whippings of the priest, like, literally, like, indicates that he knew something was different about Aurora and about his wife. And, well, I think he knew his wife. Oh, no, he didn't know his wife was a wolf.
He
did.
He did.
He did. He did know she was a wolf, yeah. But still, like, he knows there's something different about them compared to Philip. But what if the beings that they were trying to do with her was to, like, unleash her powers, similar to what Alexander was doing? I mean, like, he was trying to get the ultimate weapon on his side. So he's like, let's unleash this thing. Let's get her out. I don't know. But we do know that her dad spent a lot of time with other guys who were also heavily tied to the god of the night. So it would just be too odd for him to not be involved. I'm like, look around. The people that you spend time and company with, usually a reflection of yourself. So not great.
So what role will Philip and the Snowlands play? So we're assuming there's going to be a war in the next book, fighting a knight's army, and that the Snowlands and the Northlands will fight together. We also know the Snowlands queen is Ingrid, who was first mentioned in the prologue about being married to Fenris. So we have questions like, Philip thought he was dead, but then when Alexander died, he felt the snap back to the other alpha, right? So he's probably still alive, which means that he is still then married to Ingrid. So it doesn't sound great. I assume we'll be meeting both of them in book 3.
Oh boy. Now, the ultimate question. Oh, one of the ultimate questions. Does Callum really love Aurora? At the end of The Wolf King, we thought he did. And he, like, kind of proclaimed it, you know, in a way. And, like, even though he hadn't said those words to her yet, we really thought he loved her.
Yeah.
Now, not so sure, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he treats her pretty horribly in this book now. Like, once he realizes that there's that strong connection between her and Blake, he doesn't seem to take into consideration, like, what's actually best for her. And, like, and this would likely put his kingdom, you know, it's like he wants to put his kingdom now before her. It's like, no, this doesn't work. And even though he screamed, like, the woman I love, it's like, but do you? That's not how you treat somebody that you love.
Well, and he never says I love you, I think, after that.
Yes, never. And so we got a question now, like, is this pattern of just rescuing damsels in distress really what gets him off? Like, is that your kink? Probably. And again, like, now that Aurora's becoming stronger, no longer needing the rescuing, he doesn't find her attractive. He's not interested. And I'm like, yeah, go get with Isla.
Why not? She wants to.
Yeah. She wants to.
Okay.
She stole the collar. She wants it.
She wants it. So who will Aurora choose to be with? So right now, theorizing, she's going to end up falling in love with Blake, but he's going to have to sacrifice himself to save her life.
But that'll be a salvation, I hope.
I think so. And I think doing that will bring him back to life somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drama.
And
Drama.
Can't wait. Like, I love these 2 books. I cannot wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of what's next, if you enjoyed this book, you're also going to love the Wolves of Crescent Creek series by Tessa Hale. All 3 books are out. It's a why choose. You can have them all. Shifter romance series. That's so much fun to read. And then this book reminded me a lot of Shield of Sparrows in terms of like all of the different creepy monsters and how that plays into the world. So if you like kind of like that monster world and everything with knights, prisoners intrigued you, definitely check out Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry.
For sure. And then also join us next week when we dive into the world of romantasy with the 3rd book in the Wolves of Crescent Creek series. Really, really great. It's called Rising Rain by Tessa Hale. And we'll also release a 2nd episode where we dive into contemporary romance and discuss Bad for Business by Kat Singleton. Happy reading, everybody.
Happy reading. Thanks for listening to Late Night Reads. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Late Night Reads Podcast. And check out latenightreads.com for even more information about all the books we're reading. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And share the show with your fellow book lovers.